And
we're live.
We're live.
We're back.
Wait.
We're back.
How many A's are in and?
Shout out to Phil Collins. He didn't make it.
Sad. Big sad. Super sad.
Shout out to us. We're finally back to the stemmed tulip glass.
Yes. Oh, my God.
Ready to replace one after a sink incident.
Yeah. And the sink's made out of...
Sink.
Yeah. All the sink. How many? What's with the wad
What do you mean?
of pens?
So these are what I called the scraps.
Oh.
So when they get close to dying, they taste like shit.
Yeah.
So when I have a fresh...
Do you suck them all at once?
No, when I have a fresh new one,
Mm-hmm.
and I have one that tastes like shit, I always opt to go for the new one because I want it to taste good. And then I put the little shitty one that's got a little bit left in the glove box, the center console of the truck.
Yeah.
And then at some point, once I collect them and I'm running out of my regular one, then I will do all the scraps.
Gotcha.
This is an excessive amount because yesterday I used my Prodiscus bag and I found 2 in the Prodiscus bag.
Oh.
So then I was like, shit.
Yeah.
So now I have the wad.
Okay. And now you just go back and forth and stuff.
I'm just going to stick to one, kill it, and then move to the next.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Whatever. Delicious. Is that the new stuff still?
Yep. Well, the tulip glass, you get less water.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit more.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that. It's been a while since we had the little tulips.
It's physics.
Yeah, whatever.
It's science.
Mm-hmm. Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say things like Jordan Peterson.
Shaft.
Yeah.
So.
So we don't have anyone on today. We plan on having Dan, and then I fucked it up for us. I'll say it.
That's all right.
I originally thought it was over something bad, and I felt really bad out of nowhere this morning because I made Dan. I'm not gonna say I bullied him, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Who are you trying to address?
I'm going to wait till you're done. I don't want to interrupt you.
Okay.
I just want to be ready. I want to be ready for when it's my turn to talk.
Okay. So I didn't bully Dan into getting a book on Audible of the great Dr. Bob Rotella.
Sports psychologist.
Yep.
World renowned.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of his. I've listened, I think, to all of his books on Audible, multiple times. And I don't know why. I think I talked to Dan at one point about it and then just never followed up with it. He obviously never did. And I was like, here, you have Audible. He's like, yeah. Like, do you have credits or whatever money? It's like $15 on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, all right, you have Audible. You're going to get this book here. And I gave him the list of this is what you're doing. Just let me know when you've listened to it.
Yeah.
And then it was this morning. He was like, all right, I'm listening to it. And then 2 hours later, he's like, you fucked me up. There's absolutely no chance that I can go practice with you now or whatever. And I thought I put this guy's thoughts into his head and it just didn't jive. And he was freaking out and dude, you fucked me up. And I'm like, oh God, what did I do? And then I'm like, what happened? Hoping that it was not that. And it wasn't. He was yeah, it was all really good stuff. And there was a couple things in there, I think similar to when I was telling you earlier of kind of aha moments.
Yeah.
And he's like, I want him to or he wanted to go practice that, kind of work on it, whatever, which I get. So I didn't pressure too much about you should be on the podcast and talk about it and then work on it later.
Yeah.
I'd rather him work on it now and get better because he can be on later. I don't want it to slip through his fingers.
Yeah.
All right, now you go.
And then if it ends up not being as beneficial, then we're on the hook.
Yeah.
Because it's well, had I worked on it that day, it would have been more beneficial. Not that Dan's like that, because he's totally not. He's a great human being with accountability.
Yeah.
He's just a great...
No, he would still say that, though.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I know. But it wouldn't... Because he's petty as fuck. Which is one of the things I love about him.
Yeah,
but,
it's great.
Yeah, but no, that stuff's important. And I talked to him for 3 minutes. I called him when I got off the phone with you, and then he couldn't talk because he was still working. And then when he called me, I was actually on the...
Dan's in the chat, too. Hey, Dan.
I was actually on the phone dealing with clients. So then I called him back, and he was ready almost to the park. So we just talked real quick. He's talking about working on his mental game and things to assist him on the course, all of which are beneficial and all that. They can go out and help you achieve.
Mm-hmm.
They can help you beat down the haters.
Yeah.
I just want to take this moment right now to address
Some hate?
the motherfucking haters out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of them?
Specific haters.
Okay.
I don't even know if they're haters, but I'm going to address them as so. I just want to let it be known that I got the 2 on 17 at Willow.
Good job.
Yeah. That's right. Which puts me in the lead of the Disckhana Gladiator competition. And I'm going hard now. I'm going hard from now to the end of the
Are you?
tournament. Yeah,
Like all the way?
all the
Okay.
way. I'm putting in the work, thinking about shots, working out game plans. I called 17 down out at the beginning of the season. I'm going to put every ounce of me into the 17 down. We went to Vienna. I threw the perfect shot for the long tee, for the straight pin placement.
For the easy shot.
But the pin wasn't in that placement.
It was not.
And then there was a tree in the dark that was afraid to face me in the light. But in the dark, it just
had to wait till night.
reached out and hit my disc right before I went in the basket. I couldn't even see it. The putt was so fucking good out of my hand. I was like, dude, I did it. And then like it hit something. And I had walked up there to see. Anyways, it doesn't matter. Still going to come after the haters.
Yep.
And the Small City Disc Golf League, Tuesday Night League, which is only for team members. So don't look it up on don't look it up to try to get in
You
unless
won't
you're
find
on the
it?
team. You can contact us about sponsorship, but
We're judge, jury, and God.
yeah. That's right. And I'm just letting you know, even if you're on the team, I'm still going to win points at leagues. Did it take Will not showing up for the last week for me to take the points lead? Yes. But did I win the points for the league? Yes.
Did you win league for that day?
No. I wasn't trying to. I honestly, I know people say that, but I legitimately, I was trying to work on something in my throw.
Okay.
So it kind of put me all over the place. And plus, I was just throwing discs and whatever. I really wasn't worried about the win. I knew even third place. I was pretty confident. I wasn't 100% sure, which then at the end I got kind of nervous.
Yeah.
But I was I'm pretty sure even if I just get 8 points for third place, I'll still be the points winner. And then at some point I was like, fuck, what if I need 9? But I thought I only needed 6, but whatever.
Okay.
So
yeah, I went in just with the mentality of I'm gonna win. I watched something earlier that day, and I was just mental thing to work on, and then I just went into that. Even though it's 3 of us or whatever, I'm still I'm just gonna win.
I really wanted to work out the Challenger.
Okay.
That was my big thing for the day. Was I wanted to work on straddle putts with the Challenger, because I feel when I do a full straddle putt from distance, the fierce is a little touchy for me. And if I can kind of dial in something a little bit more, when the day that I figured out exactly what I was doing, I think I had a little bit better luck with the Challenger.
Gotcha.
So I was figuring I'll take the rain discs out, fuck with some stuff on my hand, which then ended up just being a total no-go all day. My hand just wasn't doing it.
Yeah.
But I was really focusing on just keeping my forearm loose the whole time, because a lot of the time I just tighten up, and then trying to incorporate the Challenger, try to get some flight characteristics, and then the 2 zones, the 2 jawbreaker zones I have instead of Rocco, or do I put Rocco back in, or do I go to a regular ringer, or what? Because I need something for approach shots that's a little bit less stable than the big,
a little more workable.
big sledge. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I love watching him throw that.
Mhm.
I loved watching him gun it at MVP. I was that's literally the exact one.
Yeah.
And then they even said they're he's had that zone for a really long time. And I was yeah, those are the fucking money of all money zones.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So haters.
Going down. I still think I'm gonna win.
You're going down.
I'm really not that worried.
You're gonna
about
win
it.
what?
Disckhana.
I was gonna say league points are over,
No.
bro.
Oh, I don't care about the league points. I feel like I won by 7 strokes for the league that day.
Bro, yeah.
That's okay.
So we had our league finale for the regular season. We're gonna have playoffs, but for the regular season, we had our league finale yesterday, where we were supposed to get baseball-sized hail, 4 tornadoes, an earthquake, and then somehow in landlocked Midwest we were gonna get a tsunami.
Yeah.
But it ended up raining
A little?
for like 3 holes.
Yeah. Like the last couple holes. And I was,
But on the last hole, it really wasn't raining.
yeah, like it probably was. It was just the hole was it's such a good hole that
It blocks the rain.
Yeah, it blocked all the rain.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
I was pretty bummed. That was a big thing too, where like I looked at the radar and I saw how much rain was coming, and I'm like, dude, this could be it. Like this could be like a sweet rain round. I want to like go and practice. And out of everything, I forgot the fishing pole mount thing for my umbrella, which is like has been super money when I do use it. Totally forgot it. And then I have like a little stockpile of DX rocks that I think is like a really good rain disc for me and like what I'm trying to do. And I didn't grab any of them, so I just had a pig to throw for like the last 4 holes or whatever.
Yeah.
And
It's a nice pig though.
it is super nice. It's already got me an ace, which is dope. Its twin lives on the highway somewhere in Utah or whatever. And
Shout out to all of those living on the highway.
yeah. Seriously. I
R.
wonder if someone
pig.
found it that's like
R.I.
this golfer.
pig? Probably not.
Probably not. That'd be cool though. I'd love to like go play a tournament out there, take the same highway, and then just miraculously it's there, like melded to the road or something, or like off to the side, just with holes in it and folded. I don't know.
Half a raccoon carcass on it.
Yeah, there's a squirrel like just laying on it.
Yeah. Dead. Be good. So
That'd be great.
Yeah. So we played leagues last week on Tuesday, and I got a splash out on 10 for Disckhana, which was almost super epic.
Yeah, almost.
And then I've been close quite a bit, but this week I actually got an ace, and it was a beauty.
But it wasn't for Disckhana. But it was epic.
It wasn't for Disckhana, and it was on, I thought, at least like a good hole to get an ace on.
Oh, yeah.
It
was
was
a sick hole.
yeah.
Little shorty, but like
Super sweet.
really technical shot up the middle, like flat turnover putter.
Right into it.
Yeah.
It was pretty sweet. I have a picture of me on that hole. Of I threw a thumber. Did you ever see that picture?
I don't think so.
I threw the thumber with the 5-time, 3-time.
Okay.
5-time scratchy, 3-time
Yeah.
triple threat champ. It had hit the tree flight plate forward and stuck right on. Like there was like a little nub sticking out, and as the disc came in, it just hit and sat there, and it was like 25 feet up in the air. 30 feet up in the air. Yeah, like Will.
So it just like hit like that and just on a nub.
Yep.
Okay.
So Will has picture me like under, like I'm like by the ground. I'm like, hey, and then you can see like way up there the fucking disc.
Oh my god.
I got it done on like the 12th throw. Will was thinking, and I was thinking like, dude, I can't lose the 3-time triple threat.
Yeah.
5 scratchy force, like it's a one of a kind.
Seriously.
So I had some sticks, threw it up there, and then literally like on the 12th one, I got it, and it just floated down.
Perfect.
But yeah, on that throw, I just figured like. Nothing really works for me to get up there. Like, it's such a goofy tee shot. And I was like, I'm just going to throw this. Because this is the only thing that, like, if I actually make it, I feel confident it's going to, like, end up by the basket. So I'm like, I'm just going to throw it. Like, there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a close your eyes throw.
Yeah.
But it was very much like, I'm just going to gun this thing. And, like,
it was pretty close to it just to close your eyes.
it'll work out. Well, it's a tight gap. And, like, the thing I was really working on while we were there is, like, throwing it straight, trying to keep my arm loose and, like, work how I bring my arm through, like how I turn and then releasing it straight, because I've had issues with like losing that, and that's a key part to my game.
Yeah.
So like it was cool because like I had a bunch of shots, do a bunch of weird shit because of my hand and whatever. But when we got to 13, like my drive was like money as fuck, straight as I wanted. I hit the gap on the right side of that tree, so I landed in the middle. Then my second shot was like right up the right side, hopefully giving me a chance to land in the fairway. Turns out I ended up on the left side by the trees there. And then that last throw that I had, like just down the side, was just like straight as fuck, straight out of my hand, and then faded over. So I was like, okay, cool. Like that worked out. And even the shots that I threw where I wasn't really throwing at the basket, I just wanted to throw where like it would land and I could find it. I was just trying to like work on like throwing it straight.
Yeah.
It was good. I felt like overall it worked out and was a valuable practice.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah.
It's been interesting working on like legit, like a fairly new form of just like a different thought process behind it, and then just taking it to the course. And I feel like I was able to do some of it. Like there's times where I'm just like run and gun, and it's like more my old form versus like doing the method of what I need to be doing. But like I remember hole 1, the first time we played Vienna was with Scott, and thinking like, wow, this hole's like, I don't know, it's a pure hyzer to get there basically.
Yeah.
And it's like pushing 5. I'm like, okay, like it's flat, whatever. You have a low ceiling tee shot, whatever, and it like you can't air it at all, basically. And then I threw my shot, and it was low, and I had like a pretty easy up and down like jump putt type thing to get there, and I was like, maybe I can get there on a pure hyzer type thing. Like, shit.
Yeah.
We haven't done any work with faster discs. Like the fastest we've done most of our practice with is mid ranges. And then past that, we've thrown FDs and destroyers, but just for like, just kind of see like what it can do. Like put it up high on an anhyzer, see where it goes, basically. Yeah. Everything else, like if we get to throw that shot, cool, I think we'll be just fine because we know that feeling. The rest of it, no idea. Like a controlled, like, I don't know, 350 with an FD hyzer to the basket a couple times. What does that feel like? Not sure. So it's hard to trust and do it, and then I know how it feels old form, so reverting to that, which is I think not good. Yeah.
For me, it's been a conscious decision of like, what am I doing? What are my short-term goals? What are my long-term goals? And what's going to work? And so I worked on some stuff before we found the new stuff, and it helped. And then when we found the new stuff, then I've done some of the new stuff. And specifically, like we went to go play Hudson, and right before when we got to Hudson, we had to wait like a little bit for Dan to get there. Not very long, like not even enough to throw like my cart worth of shit. But that was the only time that like I just like set up. Like I threw like 10 shots to warm up, loosened up a little bit, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna like really try to like do this. And all I was really concentrating on is engaging my hips. Like my arm, I wasn't getting too crazy about like, am I doing, you know what I mean? Like, how's all this going? I was just working on like belt buckle, and then let my arm like come through.
Yeah.
And like it was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was so fucking cool. The crazy part for me was my discs flew differently than I thought they were going to. They obviously flew differently than they do for me now, because I was getting a lot more snap on it, and then ultimately I was getting more distance out of it. But the way that they flew was like a lot different than how I thought, because my discs that I would throw that are like flippy, they didn't just like flip over, turn, and burn.
Yeah.
Like I got them out, and they just kind of like held a little bit, and didn't really like go as far right as I figured they were going to.
Yeah.
So that was cool, because then I was like, all right, you know, like it gave me more confidence. And then I did it a couple times during that round, and both times it worked out pretty well. But for me, bald isn't really the place to do that, anything with form, because it's like, one, I was just trying to get through the round.
Bald.
Yeah, I was trying to get through the round as quickly as I could. I didn't want to spend much time looking for shit. And then two, like, you could get a great shot and not really get to watch it. Like, you might as well be throwing into a net a lot of the time there. So, yeah, I was excited to maybe do some stuff tomorrow and whatever. And then this weekend on Saturday, I'm going to try. I just got my Sunday booked, which is good for work stuff, and with Gabby. So it'll be cool.
Nice.
But Saturday, I'm going to try to get out and do something for Disckhana, go play something. I don't know where. And then this week, just try to work on that a little bit. Maybe tomorrow. I don't know. We got rain and shit coming. I don't know what the weather is. I need to look at it, but try to get a little bit of work in on that. I just want to start, like, I don't know, like in my head, I'm kind of like, do I play out the season? You know what I mean? At least till Disckhana's over. And then after that, whatever. And just try to like tighten up what I'm doing with a little bit of like cleanup, or do I want to start from scratch now to get a jump on whatever it is, or, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a tricky thing, because there's still stuff that I want to do this year, and I feel like I tinkered with my form a little bit before I went to go play Indy, and then I had a hard time getting off the tee. And like 16 pars, you know. So I don't know, like I'd like to try to win Stony Open, you know what I mean? There's like other stuff, like I might play a couple other tournaments too. Like I don't know. I just need to figure out in my head what my game plan is, and then just try to stick to that.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It's fun, like finally for me having like a clear understanding of like the whole thing. And it becomes very obvious to me like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Versus what I want to be doing or what I think I'm doing.
Yeah, it's wild. This was another time where I was like, man, I kind of want to like use my phone it in so I can like go practice too, because I know I gotta Dan and I have a tournament this weekend. I can't remember the name of it, but it's Hickory Hills and Green
Lake.
Green Lake.
Yeah.
And I need to get at least like faster-ish discs probably dialed in, and then only throw like distance drivers when it's more of a wide open, and I can just trust that like wherever it goes, it's just going to go. I'm really just worried about distance.
Yeah.
And then have some control with like Firebirds, FDs, and like Thunderbird and those fields or whatever. And even like, because I think working on the form and then not really having that many reps in those, I'd rather just have more reps in one speed than like a couple reps in a lot of speeds or something. So I think I can do most of what I probably need to do with like a 9-speed or less.
Yeah.
I think everything else is a little excessive or something at this point, I think.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to play. Like, even my putting's been feeling really good. Like, a little more better, a little more consistent. Like, the feel and what it is that I'm trying to do is more methodical, which has been really nice, and basically doing at least like 100 putts a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple times with Dan, 200 of like the putt 360. No big distance shots on either course. So I guess I won't really need destroyers or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need a little deluxe mini.
There you go.
Or something.
Shoulder sling.
Yeah.
Just do the one strap.
Yeah.
I think-
easy peasy.
I think my my strap's done.
Is it?
It's been so late in the game. Like, that strap's just not made to be a big deal.
Yeah.
It came out with the Latitude Deluxe bag.
Yeah. The weird like bucket bag type thing. Is that what you're talking about?
It was like a duffel bag thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had like a red and gold one and then a black and
Gray
silver one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that was the first bag I ever got.
Matt still has his red and gold one.
Yeah.
I'm 99% sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Kevin had a red and gold one.
Mm-hmm.
I had the black and gray one. I sold it.
I think Kevin got his from me.
Did he?
Maybe because
don't
I
know.
had a red and gold one. I think I might have sold it to him. I sold him a couple bags in the past, but
I was trying to
Anyway.
remember what my first bag was. Like, my first like actual bag. And that
not like the blue and gray like shoulder sling one, because that was mine.
Oh no.
Like
I
first bag that
Yeah.
was disc golf branded, whatever. My
Yeah.
first like bag ever that I used was like a bicycle messenger bag, like a chrome bag. It was super nice. I got rid of it a couple years ago now, but I would just like shove as many discs in there as I could.
Yeah.
It was just bad.
I can't remember. Like, I'm trying to think of like, late 90s, early 2000 if I had a bag. Like a
Mhm.
disc golf, like a Nova bag or something
Yeah.
like that. I don't think I did. I think I just had like I think I had like a bag
Okay.
that I just put my stuff in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could have. I don't remember.
That's
I
fine.
remember I didn't have a lot of discs because there wasn't a lot of discs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you had like 6 discs,
Total.
Cause it was
Yeah.
like you were only going up to a 9.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So you had like T-Bird,
Valkyrie.
Valkyrie, Gazelle maybe.
Yeah.
Gazelle or Banshee. I can never remember which one's more stable, but that was like the meat hook.
Yeah.
And then, like I'd have like a XL or XS or something, and then MRV.
Perfect.
And I never had a rock. It was before the Buzz.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I had, what's that? Oh, fuck.
Discraft?
No, QLS,
Okay.
I think. But it's not the QLS. There's another one.
QMS?
No.
JLS.
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 JLS. Yes.
Okay.
JLS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a bomber.
Yeah. That's funny. One of the guys, I only know it just because one of the guys that I played with in Texas, he had it was a yellow and purple and like a little bit of white, like tie-dyed one, and he like swore up and down by it.
Yeah. Banshee is to the Eagle what the Firebird is to the T-Bird, I believe. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the Banshee was like, and back then it was like, one, nobody that you actually knew was throwing 400 feet. That was like a fantasy. And then the Banshee was only like the highest speed arm guys would throw the Banshee, because that was not the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the first premium discs, I'm 99% sure I can say it's my first premium disc that I ever bought, was a Red Champ Banshee. Because I was like, I'm going to go get like a nice disc and see, but I didn't know like anything about molds. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to get a champion one. I'm going to get one that feels good in my hands. Happened to be a Banshee, and it ended up just like working. Like it's, I don't think that's a terribly bad choice for like a more beginner who's got something kind of figured out. But like if you're like brand new, it would be bad.
Yeah.
But I eventually started getting more and more into it. I still had the disc, and then I realized it was like a 147 or 157 chant Banshee. And then I started seeing like differences. I was like, oh, it is like really light or whatever. And then I ended up losing it on some stupid shot because I learned that there's stupid shots out there that you can try, like up and over trees and stuff. So I'm sure that's where I lost it, is something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if special edition is a premium plastic
Mm-hmm.
or they had the elite whatever the Discraft had. I don't think it was elite.
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have some like it now.
Yeah.
But either the XL, XS, or X2 was my first like premium Discraft disc, and then the T-Bird in the special edition was my first like
the yellow one in that picture.
Yeah,
that
well,
one.
that wasn't the first one that I had.
Okay.
But yeah,
It was. I gotcha.
yeah, because they eventually like I could only get them to barrel roll on a Tomahawk for so long,
Mm-hmm.
and then I couldn't get them to do it. Then I just buy a new one.
Gotcha.
Like once it stopped doing that.
So brand new, they would barrel roll.
Yeah.
And then they would go from barrel rolling to exploding?
I
or-
don't know.
Okay.
They just would stop doing it.
Really?
Like yeah, and it didn't take a real long time. So I bought a lot of those T-Birds.
So just like go and then just like hold it all the way down? Or what would it do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't flip over and fly. Because
Weird.
basically the barrel roll then it's just flying like a hyzer.
Right.
Yeah. So it would like not do
That's
that
weird.
anymore.
That's so weird.
So it had to be crispy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of this like the coating on the disc.
Yeah.
You know, because they had that like shiny coating. So I
Mhm.
don't know if it like cut through the wind faster, which allowed it to barrel roll. And then once it got scuffed up, it like
Stopped.
stopped it from doing that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a crispy special edition T-Bird. You could do the epic kind of barrel
Yeah.
roll and then
That's wild.
yeah.
Never could do it. I don't have overhand power. So
Yes.
whatever. Pancakes is my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. And grenades. Pancakes and grenades.
Grenade pancakes. Grenade cakes.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I learned today, I don't know why, maybe I forgot or blacked out. I don't know. I do these things that Disc Golf Pro Tour match play is a thing, which I thought was super dope. Like I was watching I caught like the tail end of the press conference today, and they were talking a little bit about it and the place that they were doing it at. What was it? Steel. I have it on here. Steel Club.
Steel Vengeance.
No.
Oh.
No. Not the amusement ride. Good ride.
Great
Not
ride.
bad. Yeah, it's a good time.
Great repurposing of that shitty roller
Yeah.
coaster.
What was the one?
Mean Streak.
That's what it
It
was.
was like 10
Okay.
minutes long and a
Yeah.
backache. And you were
Okay.
like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Steel
remember.
Vengeance,
Okay.
you like float a bunch. It's
Mhm.
so cool.
Yeah. So anyways, Steel Club, new owner. It was like some awesome ball golf course. And then I read in like 2018, Steve Broad brought disc golf to it too. So
Okay.
I guess it's like a badass disc golf course to like championship level. And then it's still there. So everyone seems to like it and everyone gets along with it. And they're trying to make it like a really cool, prestigious event too, and make it like world class sounding. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. I'm sure it will be along those lines. But I'm excited to see that. I think match play is a lot of fun
Yeah.
and really cool to just watch because it's just you and the other guy or girl, whatever.
Other player.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just doing like nonsense. One of the last ones I remember seeing was in Texas with Nico and I don't know, whoever he was playing against and stuff, and just remembering thinking like you'd never see this in a tournament. Like they're running like 120 foot like death putts or whatever, and it's like, well, I can win this like skin basically, or like this point if I make this, and if I don't, like that I could take a 10 on that. I'm still just losing one. That's it. So
Yeah.
their aggressiveness is much easier in like point management. I don't know. It's just kind of wild.
So do they roll over? Is it like skins or no? You only get a point to win the hole.
Yeah. So like if you push or whatever, it doesn't roll over. At least from my knowledge and experience with it, is it doesn't roll over. So you could theoretically win by 18 points, or you can only win by 1 point.
Right.
It's not like, and you can't get all 18 points on one hole.
Right.
Yeah. So it could literally come down to the last hole, and then you run it or you don't, and you tie it, and then you just go to like a playoff. But I think chances are there's going to be a lot of exchanges, just like because of the course that they're going to be playing. I would imagine it's going to be pretty difficult. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I know they were interviewing Kale LaVisca, and he's 2 spots out of making it into like the pick for getting into the finals or whatever. And then he started talking shit to Earhart, like, I'm coming, because he's like the 32nd or something, so he's like right on the cusp. So they have to, like, he's got to hold his spot and beat Kale, otherwise he's gonna lose it to Kale or something like that.
Are you talking about for the tour championship?
Yeah. Sorry, not match play. Because it's 16 men, the top 16 afterwards that are in, and then the top 8 females that are gonna do match play. So yeah, for the tour championship is what I was talking about.
So so they do that. The match player, they don't do it match play, right? They do it basically like you have to do so well to like move on.
So I think it's the match play is going to be after this tournament, after the finals. So I think it's going this tournament,
So
the
the
Green
tour-
Mountain Championships,
Yeah.
and then next week is the finale of like the tour, and then match play, because after the finale is the finals of like everyone's in their place. So then the top 16 points wise for that series, and then top 8, they all get put into the match play afterwards, which I think is end of September or something, or maybe sooner. I don't know. I could be misremembering entirely. I'm sorry. It'll just be fun to watch.
Is it a pro
see.
tour event or no?
Let's see. Digipata. Schedule. Schedule. Disc Golf Pro Tour Championship.
It's like an all-star event, I think. Monies, but not points.
Where the heck did it go? DGPT match play.
Disc Golf Pro Tour Match Play Championship.
Presented by Discmania. Now I remember, because, okay. On September 16th to the 19th, the Steel Club in Hellertown, Pennsylvania, will play the inaugural Disc Golf Pro Tour Match Play Championship presented by Discmania. And then in like the next 4 sentences, they say Discmania every time, and it like drove me nuts earlier.
Okay.
I don't know why. There's just so much Discmania being said.
So it will take place on a special 12-hole layout. Okay.
Dope. So match play, September 16th through the 19th.
Yep.
Yeah. So that'll be sweet. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we were trying to figure out for the actual league championship what the format was going to be. We're going to do it on like a weekend day. And where do we want to go and how do we want to do it? And we were planning on maybe doing match play or maybe doing whatever. But as of right now, we're just going to do seeded rounds.
Okay.
So there's 4 of us. So first place is playing against 4th place and second place is playing against 3rd place. And then you play 1 round, and whoever out of each of those matchups wins, then they're playing against each other on the second round, and then the other 2 guys are playing against each other for 3rd place on the second round. So if 3rd place wins the second round, it doesn't matter. You still just get 3rd place.
Okay. Well, that'll be fun. Where are you guys going to play at?
I don't know. It's right now I think we're going to do Hudson.
That'll be sweet.
I think we have a couple votes for Hudson.
Gotcha.
So we can do the first round on OG and then do the second round to finish on Monster or vice versa or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I've never played a match play event. My issue with it and stuff like that is like we haven't been competing at match play. And then to have the championship come down to match play.
Yeah.
Seems
weird.
Yeah, weird to me.
Okay.
Because like, I don't know. Just to me it does.
Yeah.
If you're on a separate thing where we just do a match play event. Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, what is it in but is it the Riders Cup that's match play or whatever? But that's obviously is the whole time it's match play.
Yes.
And it's how many rounds?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if anything, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It'd be weird. I have not played a match play, but I would like to. So
Yeah,
maybe I'll get in. Maybe I'll get top 16.
I like the match play without the rollover. I don't like the idea of a rollover, like a skins match.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Are you guys rolling over?
No,
Okay.
we're not doing match play. We're just doing strokes.
Oh, okay.
So we're doing strokes, but you're just playing against one other person
Gotcha.
for the whole round.
Gotcha.
But like my thing with match play is like, if a push is a push, and then you just score points when you win the hole, like that makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
The skins I don't like, because
Gotcha.
you could like just literally have 5 skins, and then the next hole is like the one shot that the one guy's not good at,
Yeah.
and then that guy, because he has the one shot, wins 5 skins.
I guess Germ needs to learn how to backhand. I don't know.
Yeah. Like to me, I'm just like, okay, like if it's meaningful or if it's something that, like I'm just like, all right, yeah, it's lame.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Whatever.
Who knows?
I watched some highlights of like second card and Ricky and whatever, and he had a couple of drives in the last round that was just, dude, he was just hammering them so hard. Like there was one on was that, I think, hole 10. Wait, 14, 13, I think it's 12. Par 4 tee shot. It's like the fairway slope down to the left and you're going straight across it and then down and to the right where you like hit the crowd or something.
Yes.
Like yeah, I was like, I couldn't stop myself, but other than going like, holy fuck. Like that, like playing that course, like I can get close to like the mouth of it and like see the basket and get down there, and that's on like a great shot and whatever. And for him to have just been like smoking it down there,
Yeah.
it was just kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
Like it was nasty. It was funny because like it came out of his hand, like pretty turned over, and then as soon as it just hit flat and then just didn't budge, like, dude, that's going where you really want it to go. Like it doesn't matter. Like as soon as you hit the mouth, it really doesn't matter anywhere that you're down there. If you have a hole, like there's a shot up and down. This is nasty.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy watching the beginning of the last round that Hamas outdrove Eagle after watching Eagle's fucking shot be in the air for like 48 seconds.
Yeah.
You're just like, wow. And then Hamas like walked up and out through him.
Yeah.
I was pretty blown away.
Yeah.
That his backhand's that got
yeah,
that
it's
much
wild.
distance.
And it's such a weird, like his sidearm makes more sense to me. And that could just be like, I need to be really deliberate in my steps and just do this, boom. That's it.
Yeah.
And how he does it makes sense. And where he's holding it makes sense. In his backhand, I kind of like, I get it and I don't at the same time. It seems like just kind of real swingy, but it's one of those, it's like, it's hard to argue with because he's doing it. Yeah, he's doing it. So I don't know. Maybe he's just got extra, I don't know.
It's a smash.
Yeah.
He had a few. A few like, holy shit, dude. I didn't know he could throw that far.
Yeah.
Just smashed down.
Yeah, it was nasty. And then I had more respect for him. I know we joke about him and whatever, but I had more respect for him afterwards and kind of like hearing them interviewing him and everything. I was like, okay, like I like you a lot more now, like as a person and whatever. And then he's just obviously involved in a bunch of stuff, just like all the other guys, like sports wise or whatever. Like I'm not that way other than like some UFC and then like documentaries, I guess, and then disc golf and then
little football,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's all like you. And I know like Marshawn Lynch and whatever is fucking awesome. But yeah, like when they start talking shit about like, what was it? Yuli was wearing the Suns hat or Bucks hat or whatever the hell it was. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on right now. And then it's explained. I'm like, yeah, I can see it, but I'm not in the world. So like, okay, like, haha. I don't know.
Yeah, I like him when they, I think it was Deglow when they interviewed him. I forget which interview it was or where I saw it, but when they were talking to him about like,
Hammies you're talking about?
Yeah. He's like a baseball player. He's like, then he found disc golf and then he was like, yeah, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
And then just like dedicated his time to like putting it all together.
Yeah.
And then he won AmNats, you know? And, he's just he's a workhorse. It's interesting to see, like all the guys, you know what I mean? Like Kyle Klein and Hamas and even, what's his name? Raven coming up and, like, guy that won last week and I forget the guy. Who's the other
Connor O'Reilly?
Yeah, Connor O'Reilly. And then who's the other guy? Even Ezra.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy that has like the mustache?
Oh,
kinda-
Justin Bilodeau?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, he wasn't he wasn't uncovered for MVP. It's not Raven. I forget his name.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
He wrestled in high school.
Gavin.
Gavin.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, just like a bunch of those dudes. It's funny to think of when you're like, we talked about it before, but when you're like counting championships for people, and then you're like, you don't even know what's coming around the corner.
Yeah.
You know, like when Simon came in and he was like the young gunslinger, and it was like, how many world championships is Simon gonna win? Simon's gonna break disc golf. Simon, you know, like all this crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, or he's not gonna win any.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to have, like, you know, a retooling of his game and try to, like, figure out what actually wins.
Yeah.
He throws a mile and all this other stuff. But then you get into
or he plays a casual round with Paul and they throw each other shots. And then he's like, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, it's kind of the same thing, though, for me with, like, Eagle or anybody as you get into it. You're like, yeah, dude's got this huge forehand. Dude's a good putter. Dude's got a giant fucking backhand. Dude can throw, you know, rollers, backhands, and forehands. If you had to, like, throw your farthest one of each, like, he's beating second place by, like, 10% at least.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh, he's just going to win all these world championships. And you're like, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
In 3 years, there could be, like, 4 dudes that do the same shit. You just have no idea what's coming up. And as we talked about early on in this podcast journey of ours, like, yeah, you have a bunch of people who have just grown up with, like, clear direct.
And then eventually you're just going to have so many where it just comes down to like luck and then just your mental, like how you attack it. Like what's the more, I don't know. I feel like it comes down to like really specific things is like.
Yeah. And a little bit of like being a genetic freak.
Yeah.
Like even though Eagle can't walk properly, like he's a little bit of a genetic freak because he just has so much arm mobility and his hip mobility and his spinal mobility. Not that he doesn't work on it and he hasn't earned it.
Yeah.
But the product that he's ended up with is freakish.
Yeah. Oh, before I forget, when I know I talked to you about the skins match they did at MVP, or not MVP. It was Bradley Williams, Kevin Jones, Nico, and crap, I forget the fourth person. Anyways, Calvin.
Yeah.
I thought I said Calvin. Either way, Kevin Jones and all them, they were talking about Eagle, this and that and whatever. I forget what it was about, but it turned into like, Nico's like, he's going to be turning 33 soon, whatever. He's like, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, but like, I bet I got 50 or 70 more feet in me. I'm just like, my upper part is like super strong, but my legs, like they're chicken legs and whatever. And they're all making fun. It's like, dude, you're jacked. Like, I'm not going to fight you or whatever. And then they started talking about Eagle because that's what it was. It's like, he's like a real skinny, lanky guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then Kevin was like, I bet you he's way stronger than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
And I was like, good. Like, good for, like, really good to notice that or whatever. And I only know that because of you and, like, everything else that's going on where it's like, yeah, they're probably really good at, like, these things that are, like, much harder than you think they would be.
Yeah.
Like, fucking Jane Fonda's.
Yeah,
like,
and even if you look at Eagle's legs, like he does not have chicken legs.
No.
Like he's got a set of thighs on him when he's standing there to like throw a fucking forehand. Like you're like, yeah, like he actually has like thighs on him. Like Calvin is more of like a skinny dude than Eagle is. Calvin's also like 6'5", 6'4", 6'5", and his power is like a fling. You know what I mean? Like it's his whole body. You watch that front foot like roll over where he's like on the outside of his ankle and like,
oh yeah, he gives it all he's got.
He opens up and like all this other stuff, and he's also starting like completely cupped, like back around his back. Like it's a full thing, and he's got longer levers, and that's how he gets to do it. But even that, he's a full commit, good mechanics, 6'5", long arm dude.
Yep.
He gets giant distance out of that. You're not going to get more distance out of that with shorter levers. Like, I honestly think when you get to that, like, you don't have to be strong to throw far, which I've argued on here before, that, like, muscles get in the way and they slow you down, whatever fucking nonsense it is that people say. Like, Calvin, Barella, like, these guys, even Thomas Gilbert to a certain degree, like, those guys, that's as far as it's going to go with just clean form, long levers, and full commit.
Yeah.
To go past that is muscle.
Yeah.
Is not only that. And when you get into Eagle, yeah, he's got some muscle to it, but he also has like the widest range of movement going into it. Like no one has more range of motion on their forehand, and even his backhand when he comes up, like his ability to like just all of it. His hip mobility is so crazy.
Yeah, I think all of it is kind of wild.
Yeah.
And like the only other one that's got like probably close to that was probably Shoestrick.
Yeah.
He's got like crazy like mobility, especially like spine.
Yeah.
Like
It's gross.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, so like that stuff, I think like if that dude,
Everybody thought about the same thing or thought the same thing about baseball. Now look at MLB now. What, in like being more muscular and like lanky to launch shit or what?
yeah, I
What's
don't know.
going on?
You'd have to clarify.
Please clarify.
Yeah, I just think that like it's gonna eventually like you're gonna realize like you need some strength to do it, and
Mhm.
you're gonna have like people then training toward it. You
Yeah,
know what
and I
mean?
don't think it's going to be like bodybuilder and then like eagle flexibility.
Yeah, no.
It's going to be like what, like the basically like a little more bulky than what eagle is. Like you got like, I don't know. I feel like little muscles that are all built really strong, but you're not built to be big. They're just built to like functionality, I guess. And then
Yeah, it's an interesting contrast. I would think that you're gonna end up like a basketball player. You're
Mhm.
gonna end up with a build like a basketball player.
Okay.
You're not gonna end
Yeah.
up with a build like a baseball player.
Mhm.
I don't know. Somewhere between basketball and baseball makes sense to me.
Mhm.
You know, you're not going to be built like a football player because you're going to like the mobility you need, you know. I don't know, because it's like so much movement. But I would imagine like you're going to end up with people that are starting with good form, good understanding, working all the angles, working all the shots from when they're a little kid, and then like physically training their body on flexibility and strength. And then you're going to end up with like what now would seem like a hybrid species of people that are like, holy shit,
Mhm.
that's way better than that. You know,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this today, of like I look at, because we've like chimed in on this, like Climo's the most decorated champion, and maybe he's the best at being a champion because
Mhm.
he just dominated everybody for so long. It's hard to tell like how great. Like Bauman brought up a great point. If you can win a bunch of races letting off the gas at the end, no one's going to really know how fast you could be, how great you could be. And he had a lot of wins like that. He won a lot of world titles. I think Paul is a better player. I think in terms of like shot selection, everything else, skills, and the sport's kind of evolved and everything else like that. And I would look at like Paul up to a point, best player in disc golf, right?
Mhm.
In the history of disc golf. I was just thinking today of like, what's the legacy?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If he doesn't win another world title, and all of a sudden you just have this like stable of like 25 and under dudes
Yeah.
that like then just like rise up and become like the top end of the sport. Like, what does that do to his legacy? What does it do to, you know, like he was really, it's a similar thing to Climo in terms of like Climo was dominant until a bunch of people started learning how to properly throw.
Yeah.
And other people had the ability to like put all that time in.
Mhm.
You know, like he was talking about when Bauman was here about like, you know, these guys are working regular jobs and going up on Friday, and Climo's been there like all fucking week, and
Right.
all he does every day is play disc golf. And then you had other guys like, you know, with better mechanics that were doing the same thing. And I think like, what's Paul's legacy if all of a sudden like the kids that have grown up with great form and grown up with all this stuff, watching him, learning from him, from Simon, from all these other people, like just come up and then they become the top of the sport? Did the sport like pass them by? You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah. They were interviewing Madison Walker in the press conference today, and she said something interesting where she said she kind of misses the this was one thing I don't know the extent that this goes to, but she was saying the players were like they're helping each other out like in any way that they could, like all the way down to financially like supporting each other or whatever, which I thought was really interesting and cool. As the first thing I thought was like in some weird way, like them as a collective have like a pool of money that are like getting each other in to tournaments or whatever. I don't know, because I can't ask her questions, but she's also stoked that people have been able to like move on and now have like these literal moving condos, and it's like, or you can go and now like more people are staying in hotels and whatever and living a little more nicely, and it's awesome now that we're moving in like that step where it doesn't have to be like the I don't know if you saw the picture floating around on Facebook of the what was it, the VW bus that was like the hippies, like one's laying out in like a bed because like the whole thing's a bed, and there's a dude driving, and it's something about like disc golf, like back in the day. Avery Jenkins commented, "Is like that's exactly how it was in like the early 2000s or something like that. That it's like moving away from that, which is sweet too. Like it's still like on the road, but you have the ability to afford this moving condo, which is cool and helpful versus having a little bus or something, or just like everyone's packed into a Prius. I don't know. That was just interesting to see or hear.
When I worked in horses, they just bought really nice homes.
Yeah.
Like at the stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is our West Palm Beach house. This is our upstate New York house. This is our home.
That'll be sweet when disc golf gets there.
And then they end up like on the other ones when you're in the summertime and you're just hitting like 1 week, 2 week shows everywhere. Then they're in like a $350,000 RV.
Wow.
So you just go in and you're like, sweet.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. I've been to the RV show one time that's out here or whatever, because Scott's company would be like the main financer of that. So like people go shop, they finance it for you.
Right.
Dope. He invited me to come out and check it out one time. He's like, I'll show you around. And it was just like, dude, there's so much money in here.
Yep.
Like, this is insane. Like, there's like thousands or something, 1,000. There's a lot of fucking vehicles there or RVs there. It was, and going in and out, like, wow, this one's nice. And then it was sectioned off from like budget friendly to like got some money to like have a little more money, then got some money. And then like you have unlimited money.
Yeah.
And just seeing like what all that was like was holy shit. I didn't know you could put all this in here, or I didn't know you could have this be so giant and everything or whatever. You can put a car, like you have a garage in an RV. Like that's cool.
Yeah. Why not?
Who cares? It's only like $600,000 or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, it's funny. So today I went to a workshop on like goal setting and everything else. The associate broker at the office that I'm at, who was the broker for that office, and then I never understood like how our office came into their office.
Okay.
But basically, like he decided, like he's tapering off. Like he's been a broker for 31 years.
Okay.
He's still in his 50s, so he was like a broker in his 20s.
Yeah.
And he's just decided like he's going to hit it hard for 30 years and then taper off and live his life. And he's, done whatever. He has like clients that are worth having. And that's what he does. And he's like, I did a lot of coaching and mentoring and all this stuff for a long time. He goes, and now I'm just dialing back to like just being a player in the game a little bit more, like while I enjoy it and then enjoy my retirement and all this stuff. His kids are out of the house and, whatever. But we were sitting there and he's like, just write down. At one point we just had like a brainstorming thing for like 15 minutes. It's like, write down your dreams. Like, what would you want if you could have anything? Like, what would it be? Yeah. And it was just funny. Like, one, how much I don't care about. Like, I'm really just a really simple person, like writing down all this stuff. Most of it just comes down to like my hugest motivation in life at this point is like just helping Gabby achieve all of her dreams and have the life that she wants. Yeah. Like literally, like, like if she wants to be a boss, like whatever I can do to do it for her, way more than it's like, I want to be a boss. Like, I don't care. Like, as long as like, if she wants the spotlight and it's important to her, which it is, like, do it. Whatever I can do to like facilitate that or help you or, but it's not really my thing. Like being a millionaire isn't really like, a big thing for me. Yeah. It would be cool. Whatever it is, I kind of trying to wrap my brain around this idea of like whatever. I'm more just like the competition of like selling more houses than other people or, you know what I mean? Like there's something to the money of like, yeah, I did better than you. Yeah. And it's more of that for me than like, man, I don't know. So it's like in writing down my dreams and all this stuff, it was like, well, I want this and I want that and I want this, and I was thinking like, just like huge of like, okay, so if we just go huge, so this thing is like, just go like adolescent dreaming. Like, I want to be an astronaut. He's like, maybe not that, but like, Yeah. And it was so funny because I was just thinking like, if I was able to be like really successful and ultimately like just be able to do whatever I wanted, it was like, yeah, I'd want a really nice RV, right? Yeah. I'd want the money to be able to tour. Yeah. I'd want the money to be able to do this. And, I'd want Gabby to have the career that she wants. I'd want us to be like, definitely like financially set, whatever that means. I was having a hard time trying to evaluate like, well, what does that mean? But it's very much like I was sitting there like, would I want to, like, how nice of a stereo would I want? Like, if it was just like totally like balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And I was trying to put like that dollar amount. And I was like, probably like 50 grand, right? Like, even if I had unlimited money,
Okay.
I'd probably cap it at like 50 grand.
Gotcha.
Because all you're doing then is you're just buying more expensive shit. Like,
Right.
once you listen to it for a little bit, it's just going to become what you listen to.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to, you know what I mean? Like, this stereo is like 20 something, right? It's like 20 grand or something.
Yeah.
And so then, like, if I listen to a $50,000 stereo, I'd be like, fuck, that's unbelievable. But after like a couple years, all it would do is when I listen to other stuff, I'd be like, ugh, that sounds like shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then, like, you know, I always think like, it's like I've explained before, like, you just want as nice of a stereo as like sounds amazing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want the nicest stereo because then like you're
now
stuck.
you're just
Yeah, it'd be like driving. I imagine it's the same thing with like a sweet car. Like, if you
Yeah.
had like an epic car, every time you
Yeah.
drove everything else, you'd be like, ugh. Like, how do you get
What
around
is
this thing?
happening?
But yeah, it was funny. I was just thinking of like all this stuff, and in the end, like, my dreams that I was like sitting there and I was like super excited about was like, well, I'd want to be like, you know, Pro Masters world champ,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, that's one of my like things I'd really like to do. I'd love to do like Pro Tour. You
Yeah.
know, at least hit some of the events. I've never done it.
Yeah.
I'd love to have like an RV, you know. And I was just thinking of
Yes.
like, okay, so what's the time frame and what does that look like? And I was like, so if I get there when I'm like 60, am I gonna do it? And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm totally gonna fucking do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Yeah, it's just fucking whatever. And yeah, I was just thinking about, you know, like my kids and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I want to have kids and do this. And then I was just thinking of, you know, like my kids playing disc golf,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like trying to steer that ship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like being like Kyle Klein's dad or being like Eagle's dad, you know, and you're out there and you're like playing against them and trying to help them get better. And then finally you're just like supporting this kid trying to be a world champ.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, let's go, buddy.
Yeah.
You know?
That'd be sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
That'd be super cool.
Yeah. I've dreamt of like my parents being like that. There was at one point where I was like, I thought it was a more serious conversation with my mom. Like back in the day, I was like, dude, like it'd be sweet if you were a part of this and that, whatever. Obviously, that didn't go that direction.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, really big, shocking thing or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's weird because like that's something that I personally struggle with, like back and forth, like because I don't necessarily know how to do it. It's like a dream of mine to like tour and be the best that I can, and then like I don't know. It's funny, like after listening, like I was telling you today, of just like I listened to the Jordan Peterson book, like the first chapter, and then like by the end of the first chapter, just same thinking, things that I've heard my dad say to me or my stepmom say to me, but like the words are just like 10% different.
Yeah.
But it clicks so much like better
Yeah.
or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, goddamn, like I wish it, like those words could have been said to me in that way, or like I understood it better like 5 years ago or something, or the first time. But so it's like I've understood the concept, but like it's like I'm still, I guess, not getting all of it. I think I am, but I now know that I'm not because of how it was said now or something. So like I don't know. It'd be really cool to be like a really good disc golfer and like more known instead of like some guy like in Michigan that like some people know or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be super cool. So I think just a big thing is having our own place would be sweet.
Yeah.
Which will be like I hope it works out. I mean it's gonna work out. I hope it works out sooner rather than later, and that like the transition is just like smooth. And if it's not, that it's just quick and like the first part is like quickly just Band-Aid off and we're over here.
Yeah.
And then everywhere else just like stays there.
Yeah, I am, and I'm sure anybody that, you know, is close to you and that, you know, cares about you is just like super excited for that moment for you.
Yeah.
To be there and be like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is way better.
Yeah,
you
because
know?
it's I've put myself in this situation. I knew that I was putting myself in this situation, and it's just like forever of like, I've had the same conversation with my dad so many times at this point that like I felt bad for years, like having the same conversation of just like, dude, you deserve better. Dude, this, your mom's crazy, yada yada. Like, I just want the day where we just have a talk and it's just like we're good. Like, not that we don't, because we do have good talks. It just sucks that they live so far away that I just have like the shit family here in Michigan.
Yeah.
I have good family here that are friends, but which I'm thankful for, because if I didn't have that, Dude, oh my God. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be here. I don't know if like I'd be in jail or something. I don't know. I
Yeah.
legitimately don't know.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody. But I'm starting to like realize more just like how negative everything is around me for sure. And then I knew that it was like when she moved back. Like thankfully it wasn't like all these years of only living with her. Like there was a great chunk of time where it was just me and Amanda. But still like the looming like this isn't our place, I guess, like legally and whatever. And then you put it together like really well where like yeah, you could still like I knew it wasn't the right call, but still like if you rented from like a friend or whatever and it turns into blah 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 and then like then what or something. I'm like, yeah, I totally get that. So going it like the right way, I guess you could say, was going to be more like free feeling, I guess.
Yeah, fulfilling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it's just a thing of like starting your day by filling your cup with like positive energy and like self-affirmation as opposed to starting your day with like what the fuck's going to happen today.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Or like trying to clear up the cobwebs of like what the fuck just happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you can take that out of your mental space, you know, like your whole life changes. Your energy changes, like everything, and then you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Like
know?
I've had a couple different things. One of them was kind of like not related to the book because I did it before the book. But it was like I was watching the documentaries and like a huge fan of them. It's like I don't really know what to watch unless I can watch something that's like there's a lot of them that are coming out probably because people have more time to kill and stories to tell because now like they're at the tail end. Like I was telling you about Marty Fish and Andy Roddick, tennis players, whatever. I don't follow tennis. But the story was like super, like it was amazing in many different ways, super touching. And then like in the long run, it was like he achieved his dreams. Like he was like in this shadow for so many years that in the end, and there were so many things that I could relate to that I was like, I'm more invested in this rather than it just being like a good story. Like there's things that I can relate to in here, which is super cool. Same with like some others. Like I watched the Ronda Rousey thing. So like, I was like, I don't know what to do. So like my first thing is like, I want to reach out and like tell them or something. They're these like superstars and whatever. And I'm just lonely little me, but like in hopes of like, I don't need to know that you've seen it. It would be cool to know that you've seen it, but like, I hope that you see it. And I just trust that eventually you'll see it at some point. And hopefully it's like, you know, that like you, I don't know, in some way like touch this random person that you've never met, probably never going to meet, whatever. But I wanted to like put that out there in like the universe or whatever. And so I did that to like Rousey. I did it to a couple other people. I did it to Marty Fish. I wrote him like this really long thing. And I shouldn't have been surprised because I did it the same day that documentary got released. And then like his whole Twitter was like kind of the same thing. And he responded, like he took a picture of or like screenshots of people messaging him and whatever, saying like similar things. And I started out like, you're probably not going to see this. I should have known that like your page is going to be full because it's the day out. But then like I went through like this, I gave him a little short story of whatever. And then like a little slide, like maybe we can meet someday because like both of our names are kind of fishy or whatever. And but either way, whatever, like I hope you're doing well. Everyone you interact with is whatever. And he replied to me like today, which I thought was super cool. That like he saw it and everything and read it, which I thought was like weird. Like I thought it was super cool, but I was like, I feel like a lot of people can like use it to like name drop, but I didn't get that. I was like, I got to talk to like a person kind of, or like reach out to like this dude who I think would be super cool to meet at some point in time.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a lot of, it's similar to like Overthrow where like, wow, thinking about it this way is different. Now I have like a different aspect for a different part of my life to think about it slightly differently, which is kind of cool. And, one of the things he said today on the way to come see you, probably like 5 minutes before, he was like, a lot of people look at certain things as like how to survive something. Like you have this problem, how do I survive it? But instead think of it like a challenge. Like you have this challenge accepted kind of thing is kind of how I heard it. And it was like, oh, that just makes way more sense. And it's not like there's a lot of you're a bad person because you can't figure this out or that out, or you're not that smart because you can't figure out this or that or the other thing. And then it like puts a weird cloud of whatever on myself. And then thinking about it that way kind of like immediately took that away for the most part. Like it's still like kind of looming, but it's like I have the light to the darkness, and the darkness is really easy to control because you just shine it wherever the hell you want. So like there's a couple of things where I thought about it differently, and I was like, it's really not that scary. It's not that bad. It's not like, it doesn't make you good, bad, or whatever. Just you have something you got to do, and you just got to do it or something. It's been wild.
Yeah, part of what you're talking about is why I love sports.
Yeah.
Like I love sports for the like human interaction of it, and for the human like triumph and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love it. That's why anytime we talk about sports, I'm always talking about like specific people.
Yeah.
Like this dude, blah blah blah, or like this time this happened, and like the backstory and all that. That's what I really like about sports. I've never been that like, other than the Red Wings. I've never been. Well, no. When I was a little kid, I was a huge Notre Dame fan.
Oh yeah.
But I've never just been that like blind, like the Lions, man, you know, or like U of M and whatever. I've always been like fans of specific people, even in team sports, you know. And there's like teams I cheer for because I want those dudes to win. You know what I mean? Like, it's just always how I've been, and I really appreciate that in sports. And I probably have a lot of lifetime, like my most emotional moments are watching sports. Not because it's like, oh my God, the Tigers won the World Series, I can't believe we got a championship in Detroit. Like I don't understand what that means to you. But like watching someone who I know, their story, and what, you know what I mean, like all of that stuff and everything happening, like just being there to be like, holy fuck, dude, like that's, you know what I mean, it's amazing. And the like identifying with that human being of like what that moment has to be like, you know, and you're like at some point like lifted out of your own life to like experience that moment with this person. And it's definitely what I like about sports. You know, like even that's why I like all sports. It's like one of the reasons why, like, you know, I watch and track and follow and stuff, like almost like every kind of sport. You know, I mean, there's some sports that are just like not very present to be followed. Like I don't know anything about ultimate frisbee or lacrosse or, you know, there's any number of things. And baseball I just don't care about. I did when I lived in New York because it's part of the culture, but besides that, like I just don't really care about baseball. But there's still people in baseball that like I follow their story, not so much anymore, but you know, there's guys that I get behind. But yeah, I really like that, and that's what I was saying before about like disc golf, like getting the personalities in and the more exposure that you have to these people and all that stuff. Like I think a lot of people interact with sports like that. Yeah.
He said one other thing again before I forget, because I'm a very forgetful person at times, most times, whatever. Was basically approach things or whatever, like things that you want. Like imagine the things that you want, and then you like approach them in the way that you are just as like you're entitled to it, but as entitled as everyone else is too.
Yeah.
So you are everyone else is, and that was again another weirdly interesting thing, just how it was phrased. That just kind of like it felt like it emotionally brought me up to like everyone else's level, where like I think I'm beneath people or whatever. But like I felt like I should be in a different spot, but what I feel is down here. That kind of like brought my baseline up a pretty significant amount.
Yeah.
And just like a different thinking of that. And I was like, okay. And then like I kind of had this, I don't know, like kind of like a mutual respect for like everybody, like just whatever that feeling is, just kind of like flood kind of like outwards. And I was like, it's a really weird thing. I don't know. Like it's strange. Like if you haven't, like I knew of Jordan Peterson. I knew he's like a smart guy. I've heard him every now and then on like the Joe Rogan podcast. Have not listened, I don't think, fully to any of them because it takes so much like attention. There's a lot, or you have to re-listen. And then we were talking. You told me about this book. You love it. Whatever. I bought it that same night. Started listening to it on the way home. Again, one chapter in, already absolutely love the guy. I absolutely love this book, and I can't wait to hear the rest of it. So if for some reason this will entice you into getting that book just to hear it, like even for the first chapter, I would do it. Like it's $15.99 or whatever the hell it is on Audible, and it's great. And his voice is strange and oddly soothing.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is, why, but I like listening to him talk.
Yeah, I love that it's him reading it.
Me too.
Yeah, I love that it's him because he's put so much work into that book. You know what I mean? And like,
and that book's called what? The 12 Rules of Life, or
It's like 12 rules as the antidote to chaos or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
basically. I forget the exact name of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like his most sold book on Audible. Though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has 3 books. He came out with a sequel to that book, and before he did Maps of Meaning.
Okay.
Which is a book. Yeah, that he did a long time ago. He's a wildly intelligent guy, and he's also like a very diligent, prolific like researcher of stuff. So that book is like so well put together. I look at it as like bulletproof.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny when people take like his random ideas and they're like, "Oh, this is nonsense." And he's like, "Funny thing is, I've done like decades of research for me to say."
Yeah, when he goes through and he's talking about like, I wrote this book based off of this research, and then this research and this research and this research and this research, and then like a little bit of this or whatever, and he's like, I've studied not like a whole bunch of like Catholicism or whatever it is, but like some of it, but it's like, okay, that's a lot though. Like if that's true, I don't know why you would lie to me about that. Like, oh my God. And then just everything, like he'll start off with, I can't give an example, but like something relatively, I guess, controversial in like the way he says it. And then like immediately is like, whatever he follows it up with is like, oh, that makes a lot of sense or whatever. Just like a very black and white way to think about it, or very matter of fact, like these are facts kind of thing. And it was super interesting.
Yeah.
It's not because he sounds like Kermit and I get childhood memories flooding in.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan.
He's great. And like, it's more difficult now than at any point to just have like independent, well-researched, well-thought-out ideas, because everybody takes an ideology and associates it with some political stance. Like everything has been moved to like this like weird political arena, even though like most of our country lives kind of in the middle. It's still like, well, you're a Nazi, or you're this like alt-right person, or you're this like crazy liberal, you know, like evergreen state or whatever it is. And you're like over here that, you know, you have babies and you have 28 pronouns today and whatever it is. And it's hard to like discuss difficult, nuanced issues. You know what I mean? And anytime you get into real complex, nuanced cultural issues, it's always been difficult to do, which is why things stagnate for so long. But specifically right now, it's really difficult to do that stuff. And then I think like he's doing a great job of it now. I think if Jordan Peterson was able to bring this message to the world like 20 years ago, he would be like just wildly celebrated. Not that he's not currently.
Right, but even more so.
Yeah, because like, you exist in this world of all this like looking to hang someone, you know, and then you have like a whole ton of like, you know, gotcha journalism and people trying to take clips out of context and try to like paint you as this other person because it, you know, drives viewership and whatever. And I think he's really good at like responding to that and not just
like he'd probably just be more widely known than I think, like, I don't know, not too long ago you'd be like, do you know who Jordan Peterson is? And it's like, well, the name sounds familiar or something, versus like, do you know who Michael Jackson is or something? Like, yeah, of course I know, or whatever. I feel like if he was back then and then had time to have those 20 years to like marinate through time or whatever and have people like spread the word and everything. It'd be.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really like when you were just talking and we were talking about, you know, sports and everything. My big thing in life and my approach to life has always been like, you're born into this position and then you have a goal to be whatever that is. And like your journey to get there is 360 degrees by 360 degrees. Like there's any way you could take to try to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in the end, all that it matters is like how you feel about where you're going and where you are on that journey. You know, and it's useless to compare yourself to other people. It's useless to look sideways and be like, oh, they've got this, or oh, they're doing this, or whatever the fuck it is, because you have no idea what their starting point was. You know what I mean? Like, if you were born into it like an impoverished inner city, the odds that you're going to be a professor at Harvard are like zero. You know what I mean? And then if you're born into some kind of privilege, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things financially that work out for people. There's a lot of things that socioeconomically work out for people, like all different parts of the spectrum that like go well for people. But in the end, it just comes down to your life really just comes down to like, how do you feel about where you're going? How do you feel about where you've been? Where are you trying to get to? And are you like moving in that direction? Are you like assessing data and changing your course to try to continue to get to your goal? Or are you stuck on, this is the path I'm on, and you're just not taking data anymore, and then you're just this like force of energy moving forward, like because you don't want to admit that you were wrong. You know what I mean? There's like a lot of things with that. And when you were talking about that feeling that you had of like empathy and compassion for all people, like for me, that is the goal of like where I wanted to exist in my life. Mm-hmm. Like I can really not like you, and I can really not like how you do stuff. Mm-hmm. But my honest like energy and emotion toward you is very much like the same as everybody else. You know, like that's something that's like, I think if you can cultivate that into your life, you'll be a very happy person, because it keeps you grounded in gratitude of like, you're happy for what you have. Mm-hmm. You're happy for what you didn't have to go through. Yeah. And then you're happy for where you're at because of where you're not. Yeah. But just because someone is somewhere that you don't want to be, or someone is someone that you don't want to be, doesn't mean that they're not on the same journey you're on. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And if they've taken a bad approach to it, or if they didn't see an issue in it, you have to realize that there's someone that could look at you on your path and put you in that same box. Yeah. Of like, whatever issue has you stumped, there's someone else out there that could look at it and be like, dude, it's so simple. Yeah. And then there's plenty of things that like you're doing that someone else can look at and just be like, I don't even know why you would do that. It's so counterproductive. And you just realize that you're on this spectrum. And the reality is if you look to your left and you look to your right, like on both ends, there's people both ways. Like you can look down at this person and be like, they're this fucking mess. There's someone on the other end that's looking at you that's like, dude, you're this fucking mess. Yeah. And you're never going to get out of that. Yeah. And so then in the end, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter like who's looking at you or what their thing is or whatever, because no one's going to truly understand like what it took to get you to where you are today, because they've never like lived your life, and they didn't grow up in your home. They, you know what I mean? Like all of that stuff that happens. And so it just really comes down to like how you feel about yourself, your life, what you're doing, where you're going, and what your plan is. And, you know, can you sleep at night? And are you happy during the day? Yeah. You know, and that's it. And it's hard in life to like get to that point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it's hard in life to like let all that shit go. But I think it's just part of like the maturing process. And then eventually you just get to the point of you're like, these people aren't going to fucking pay my bills. If I take their opinion or I take their advice and it leads me into a shithole, or if it ruins my relationship, or, you know, whatever it is, like, they're not going to do anything for me. Right. Nothing. Then I'm just going to have a whole bunch of other people being like, oh, what a dumbass. Yeah. So, like, I would rather be a dumbass, or I'd rather be whatever it is that people say based on my own ideas and my own path. Yeah. Because then...
Yeah, and I hope to have friends or people close to me, and then also be that person too, where like you're trying to help that person along the way, like even if like whatever it is that they want to do, and I can help, or vice versa, that like we can be there for each other or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. That's just like how I've always thought of it, or like growing up, like, man, there's so much stuff that happened that sucked that like I really try to live by not doing those things specifically, because I know how much that sucked to not do it to other people, and I'll just have it end with me, and that's fine, because like, why would I like do it to other people? Because it's not okay because it happened to me that I do it to you. Like, to me, that's not how that works. To other people, that's how that works.
Yeah, that's why I'm 43 and I just got married. Yeah, because I wanted to be in a space where like it all ends here. Yeah, like the gift to my kids, one, besides this amazing disc golf collection. Yeah. But two, is like...
And matching disc golf attire, bags, socks.
Is having the ability to provide the space and have enough understanding to provide the mentorship to allow my kids to have like the best starting point possible. Yeah. And not have like all that. And even at some point, like my relationship with Gabby is similar in that way of like, I did this crazy life that I've lived to get to like this understanding, because I had to, because of like where I started was here, and I wanted to get to here, and I didn't see another way of doing it. But like, I don't think that everybody has to do that. I don't think everybody can do that. I don't think it's wise for everybody to do that. But at the same point, like if I do have this understanding and I can help someone, it's the same thing in disc golf, like helping someone with their form early on when you had to struggle or, you know, whatever the fuck it is, like just passing on the knowledge that we had talked about before. Like if you know something and you could take 4 years off of someone's progression timeline, then why not do it? And same thing in life. And that's what I was talking about earlier about like my number one passion is just like getting Gabby to where she wants to go.
Yeah.
Because like I'm like, in all honesty, like I'm good. I want to be professionally successful so I can feel good about like my whole life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all the way around. But really, like as we were sitting there like filling out all these different things, it's like other than that, which I honestly feel like is the cheapest of like generating my career. So I'm in it, right? Like I'm really excited for Gabby to graduate and get her license, and then we can just do that together and it'll be awesome because my main motivation in it will be like for her, you know what I mean? And like that's an easier motivation for me than for money.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
But like, I just look at like interacting with people and everything like is I'm just trying to, if I can, like cut down the amount of shit that they need to go through to learn the lessons that they need to learn.
Yeah.
It gets frustrating because a lot of the time, like, there's no shortcut.
Yeah.
You just not you, people.
Yeah.
You just have to learn the lessons that you have to learn. And there's any number of ways to learn them, and someone just telling you might not be the way that you have to learn it.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't the way that I learned. So, you know, like, I just feel like that quest and that track and everything else that's going on is just like, you know, you have to have accountability to yourself of like, this is what I'm doing, this is where I'm trying to get. And you also have to have the patience with yourself of like, I am a very unique person and this is a very unique journey. And you can't just look at that person and be like, oh, they're doing this. Because I think, at least from my end, like when I worked in horses, I worked with like ultra wealthy people. And it was a really great, like for my data collection, like I was able to be like on the other side in this like really weird insulated world of like really crazy wealthy people.
Yeah.
And being there and like living with people and traveling with people and doing all this stuff. And like when I was there, I was definitely not like, fuck yeah, this is what I've got to do. Because I was still just like, okay, this isn't necessarily any better on the inside than where I come from. You know, if anything, like it's a whole different thing. You know what I mean? It's not like, and I've never really lived in a space of like, oh, they're lucky because they have all this shit.
Yeah, it's like the same-ish, just a different scale, or is it
It's
the
different.
same?
It's just different problems. Different
Yeah.
problems.
Right.
So specifically in horses, like, and again, we can get into a Jordan Peterson thing, or we cannot. But like this dude generated, right? And what I found out later, which was a big like eye opener.
Okay.
This dude has amassed $30 million worth of wealth.
Okay.
He didn't do that by being at home all the time for his kids. He didn't do that by being at home all the time with his wife.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, those guys wanted to be that guy. They wanted to sit there and play with their watch while you're talking to them and just be like annoyed that they even have to deal with a normal human being because they're this like superhero.
Yeah.
Right. And like that's always what they wanted to be. They always wanted to be like the biggest guy in the room. And they sacrificed all of this to do it. Some of them. And then when they're at the end, though, they dragged a family along with them. So then at some level, they're like, either one, they feel guilty because they were never fucking there, or two, they're just sick of hearing the bitching about the fact that they were never there. Because they're like, well, you're spending all this fucking money. Like, obviously, like, you're not that upset. Like, you have all this shit.
Yeah.
So then a lot of the time with horses specifically is they just throw money at it just to get them the fuck out. So like you're going to go travel and ride horses, which is like every little girl's fantasy. You're just going to do that. And what it does is I no longer have the responsibility of my kid because my kid is just on the road with a trainer or with her mom watching her and a trainer. And now they're both just fucking gone 40 weeks out of the year.
Gotcha.
So now this dude can just grind out his shit, have an affair, do whatever the fuck he's doing, and live his life like the man and not have that baggage of like, yeah, but you were a shit dad and you were never around till I was like 17. And then that family dynamic is the kid is super pissed off at the dad because he was never around and blah, blah, blah. And like maybe he cheated on mom and mom stayed, or maybe this is wife number 2. Like, you know, who knows? And that dynamic is just like really fucked up. Then you have other kids who had decent parents and then they just put everything into their riding because that's what the kid wanted, for the kid to be successful. And then those kids at some point are like 19. They just want to be a normal person, but their parents have spent $8 million over the last 18 years of their lives for them to have this opportunity. And now they're just doing it because they just feel so guilty about all of the resources that were put towards them doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And now at 19, you're literally saddled with this giant chest of guilt that you're never going to get rid of.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
the
wild.
crazy part
Yeah.
is when I met this one dude, I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
Huge douche. And then it was like, well, yeah, but he runs this company, which at the time was worth $30 million. And I was like, well, yeah, I get it. I mean, I guess at some level, like I could get that he's a douche, yada, yada. And then I found out that he had actually like inherited the business from his dad
Mm.
and then had just been running it for X number of years.
Okay.
And then I was like, yeah, you're just a huge douche.
Okay.
Because his dad's the one that actually like built the company up.
Right,
to,
right.
like,
He put in the hours and whatever. He's
he had
there for like
yeah, he had the idea. He
Yeah.
made it work. He got it off the ground. He got it going. And now you're just like
maintaining it.
a successful company. And he
Yeah.
did well with it. It's not that he didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
But his dad, who was like the grandfather of the kids that rode,
Mm-hmm.
and his mom, who was the grandmother of the kids that rode, were like super fucking cool, down to earth people.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the guy that could be a douche,
Mm-hmm.
but he's not. And his mom drove like a Toyota stick shift station wagon from
Really?
like the 80s.
Really?
Yeah. And
Oh,
she was
wow.
like super, like when I met her, I was like, wait, you're Mrs. Whoever?
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah. And I was like, really?
Really?
She was like, yeah, I get that a lot. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Does she understand why?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I always took really personally how he was.
Mhm.
And then one time I was there, like when his mom was there, and like literally his interaction with his mom was the same as like his interaction with everybody else. And I was like, oh
Really?
yeah, you're just a turd.
Okay.
Yeah, because his mom was like talking to him about something,
Yeah.
and he was still just like
His watch.
playing with his watch, like, yeah, okay, I get it. All right, yeah, so and I was just
Okay.
like, sweet.
Dope.
I was like, awesome. So
Yeah.
I don't know, like being in that situation for me, I was just like, yeah, it's the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Just different.
still gonna have the same thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
you still have parents that, you know, aren't who you want them to be or whatever the fuck it is. You know, it just becomes more complicated, I think, because you have these like bigger things going on.
Yeah.
The only difference is like you're probably never gonna deal with like not having stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
It's weird. It's crazy. There's a lot of
a lot of life.
lot of stuff. A
Lot
lot
of
of
life.
variables, a lot of things. A lot of things to keep track of.
Yeah, an old
Yeah.
duder's head, big
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm trying, me personally, I'm trying to just be better at remembering certain things. Like just like keynotes, like in our overthrow thing, it's 3 things, maybe 4 if I remember the one. And it's the 10 o'clock belt buckle box setup. That's it. It's all
Yeah.
I need. It's all I need. If I can just like nail that, like sweet. I just need that in the more life thing is just like I need these key points to like always remember to like keep me in like checks and balances and everything.
Yeah.
So
So today we just kept going over and all. He's brought this stack of books to like make you a better human.
mm-hmm.
You know, and to be successful in life.
Okay.
And biggest thing is like, according to whoever, like 60% of your life is just autopilot.
Yeah.
It's just the habits that you have in place just playing themselves out. And so David Goggins style, if you just jump in and dictate what those habits are going to be, and then hold yourself accountable to like living out those habits for X period of time, once they are ingrained into the habit structure of your life, that then you just ride that wave.
Yeah.
And if you put these habits in place for a couple of months and you just like really dig in and hold on to those habits and then hold yourself accountable to maintain those habits, that you will ultimately just be successful
mm-hmm.
professionally. Right. And it made a lot of sense to me. I was like, okay. And so my thing for when I got sober was like literally a dry erase board. So I have a dry erase board next to my bed now. I don't use it because
Mhm.
I'm currently not as productive as I should be. But I just had to check a dry erase board of like 6 things every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I'm just going to do these 6 things every day, no matter what happens, no matter what comes up. I'm going to do these 6 things. And if I do these 6 things every day, like I'll be in better shape in the future than I was in the past.
Yeah.
And it worked. And, you know, whatever it is. But I've always looked at like just the 10 point, like we talk about like the 10 pegs of like disc golf, like what your disc golf is: forehand, backhand, putting, you know, Anheuser's, whatever the pegs are that you break down. And, yeah, I've always looked at like 10 things, you know what I mean? Like if I could just have a dry erase board of just 10 things and mindlessly live my day just to put check marks next to those 10 things. And then once those are done, just do whatever the fuck I want.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much life, one, could be enjoyable, and two, you stop having all those arguments with yourself. Like, I should be doing this, and I'm not. And then you start breaking yourself down. You're like, how come I'm not? And then at the end of the day, you're like, why am I going to do that? Get that done. Like, I should have just gotten that done. You have all of that, like, self-deprecating, tearing yourself down, all this other shit that's not productive and just like tearing yourself apart instead of just mindlessly. Like, that's checked off. What's next? Okay, cool. And then just like not have a debate. I'm just going to do the next thing. And then I'm just going to do the next thing. And then I'm just going to do the next thing. And then once those 10 things are done, then like go work on the box drill.
Yep.
Or lift weights, or, you know what I mean? Or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And just like doing that. So today my takeaway from that was like, yeah, I'm just going to David Goggins it. Like, I'm just going to like put the bitch on the bench and just like write out the 10 things every day. And then I'm just going to do those fucking 10 things every day.
Yeah.
And just go from there. And then at some point, like, I could substitute one in and take one out or whatever it is. And I'm just going to like literally ride this like 10-point day every day and just go from there.
Yeah. When you were telling me about the, what was it? One of the world class surgeons or whatever who has done it 4 every day or whatever. Like, it's really similar to that. But that, like, I think that was a hugely important thing too, is because like, you can be number 1 in the world, whatever, and then still go rage it up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just hyper focused, and like you have a game plan, and then you have like a start and finish time, and then in between that time you have to do X, Y, and Z or whatever.
Yeah.
And then always done by 4. So like I'm trying to get better at my scheduling, and one of the things that actually has been helping a lot with that is like really honestly looking forward to going practicing with Dan. Like, all right, we got field work. It's like, it is just me and Dan. It'd be cool if at some point there's like others. I've even like things have bounced around in my head of like what it could be, what it could turn into, this and that, whatever. I'm still thinking of like, what can we do more physically? Like I was telling you, like to be more like, we're getting in shape form wise basically and mentally, but also more physically, like what could we do? And like simple things of jogging to each like warm up shot just to like get blood flowing. You're not like going all out, but you're going at a more a faster pace just to like get the heart going or something, get some like more cycles through, whatever it is, work up a sweat.
Buy a Jared's ladder.
I talked to him about a medicine ball because I was thinking like if we were doing like what was it, like you're throwing the ball but you're doing like sit-ups at the same time, we're just like throwing them back and forth or whatever, like doing that for a little bit to like help our core get a little stronger. Just having a better, more efficient day, because I've had days where I'll work like 14 hours, like just trying to like get a video done. Like I did the one day, the 13 hours for the Stony video. Like I want to make it look nice. It's mostly done. There's still more that I want to do, but like I also can't have like these crazy long days because there's other stuff that needs to be done. And then like having me time is always good, and all like taking a break and doing something else and then coming back or whatever, like have that broken up. Like take a lunch break. You don't have to work 13 hours straight. Like you can't, if that's your thing, cool. But for me personally, like having that break, take a second to like rejuvenate, like look away from the computer, do something else, and then come back with fresh eyes, like so on and so forth, has been like helpful. I've not mastered my scheduling, but I'm trying to be better at it. So yeah. I think it's important, at least for like the situation that I'm in.
Yeah, for me, I'm just excited because I feel like the least innovative goal of mine is my career.
Mm-hmm.
At least this phase of my career, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause like his term today was success leaves clues. You know what I mean? If someone's successful, they leave clues. Like you can look at them and see, or talk to them and see what they did
to be
where they're at.
Yeah.
He's like, it's not like magic or anything else like that. Like success leaves clues, and if you just follow those clues and you get the picture in your head of how to do it, like you'll be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing with the career and everything has always been like, yeah, that like once I get to that point where I feel like the rest of my life is locked down and I've got all this other stuff like put together, like then I'm just following a map.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, cool. Like now I have a map. Before it was like this, like get through these woods. And you're just like, is there a map? And they're like, nope. And you're like, okay, cool. I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was like a couple decades of my life was like doing that. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to do this, do that, whatever. And then I got married and all this other stuff.
Bye, Dan.
Bye, Dan. And then I was like, always like with the career, it's very much more of like, just follow a map, you know, like just get into what you're doing. You can research like what other people have done to be successful in it, no matter what that career is, and then do that. And it's just been more of like trying to find that thing that it is what I want to do that will also allow me to have the life that I want to have. And then like now I really feel like this is that thing. So now it's just like, all right, cool. I'm trying to like learn the map.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? What is that? What is this? But yeah, I'm excited to do it, and it'll be interesting to see. But it's not something that I really take that seriously.
Yeah.
As far as like it as an evaluation of myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like even if I'm really good at it, and even if I'm really successful at it, it's not like, well, now I'm better than you,
Right.
because I have a successful career. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. Like I for me, the value in a person comes a lot more from like how they think about things and how they interact with things, and like I don't know, they're happy. Like my ultimate thing is like your happiness. Like,
Yeah.
does your life serve you? Are you happy? You know what I mean? Do you have like relationships that are important, and whatever it is? And
Yeah.
like I look at it that way, very much less than I look at like, damn,
Yeah.
you have a great life because you have this thing, whatever that is.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to help everyone that's like close and meaningful to me. Like, I think very much along, I think a similar thing, I guess a way to put it is like, if I win the lottery, it's not just me that's winning the lottery. Like there's other people that are going to like, whatever, like here's something. And then I trust that you guys are going to like, you're going to do whatever you're going to do with it. But like something like this shouldn't just be me or whatever. Like there's some people out there, it's like, that's right, I did it. Like I won the lottery, whatever. And it's just me, whatever. Fine. That's your thing. That's not me. I don't know. Like, I'd like to see everyone like have what they want, and if I can like again help do it, I feel like I would be the person to win the lottery, and then like give everyone how, like if I won $100 million, everyone that I know, love, whatever that's treating me right, you're all getting like $1 million, like whatever. I'll say it now. I don't think I'm gonna win the lottery, but if I did,
I'll put it on the podcast.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. It's just wild.
Yeah. So Hamas won MVP. I thought it was great when they were interviewing him that he was talking about the tournament back home.
Yeah. That was one of the things that got me, where it's like,
that was like one of the sweetest things.
Yeah, I forget the guy he shout out. He was like, he was doing really well. I haven't looked today, but like, I really hope back home that he's like killing it, yada, yada.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
Yeah, I really, really liked that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so my interaction with that tournament, and we had talked about it, so I was like, I just didn't know like what had happened. Because I knew after round 2, Eagle was up 4, and then Hamas won.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck happened that round? And I had no idea that like fucking Hamas just came out and laid it on him, and Eagle kind of like laid an egg to start.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
And then was like up by 3. And then squandered that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
it was a really wild battle. Like
Yeah.
just to see it, because like I've always been the guy. Like you could tell me how a movie ends, and I haven't seen it. I basically don't care.
Yeah.
Because I still don't know like how it got to that point. What's all the stuff that led up to that? I know Hammy's won. Like cool, great. Still, like I can still get into the mindset. Like while I'm watching it, I know Hammy's wins it, but like shit, Eagle might like run away with it or something. Like what? Like I get into that moment and just like how he laid it on him. He was playing really well, and then he fumbled a little bit. Eagle kind of capitalized. He strung some together, and then they like. On the back 9, they went from being like 3 apart to he's 1 back, and then 17 happened, and that's when he goes like, why can't you just fucking make a putt today or whatever? And like and this was after like kind of my what was it? I had like some weird thought of whatever, and I didn't think of it as him being like, well, you're gonna punch the grass now or something. I thought of it as like he fucking just wants to win or whatever. Like my brain thinks in certain ways, and this time I was glad that it like had a more positive reaction to it, and it was just like I still thought it was funny that it was like out and whatever, but like, dude, this is crazy. And then like I didn't realize like there was such a big swing. I thought he was putting for like birdie or something, and then it was a par, but I think it was Maybe that's what it was. I'm sorry. Either way, it was a big moment, and then it was just Hemis just needs to par the 18th, and that's not like a gimme, whatever. That's like, dude, Eagle could go for it and then like biff it like Ricky. I don't know if you saw Ricky's.
Yeah,
but
I did.
Yeah, dude, what a mash drive, but like, just murdered the second shot. Like, oh, it's gonna be really good, and then you see the catch cam, and he's like, oh, it's already OB. Like by the time they cut to his disc, it's like, dude, that's toast.
It's in the tent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm always amazed. I have outbursts on the course. I had a good one this week playing Monster.
Okay.
I had a good one. I kind of kept.
Well, you had the one at Willow, but that was positive.
Yeah.
That was big positive.
Well, because I've eaten it on that hole so many times.
Yeah.
But it's because I care.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And like, I'm trying as hard as I can, and I really want it, and I've put in time. You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
And it's just specifically with Disckhana, it's so much because then it's like, I have to play the fucking course again. I have to drive the fuck back out here. Like the whole thing is like,
dude, I know I can 217. So like, god damn, like how many times, how many rounds can we go in here?
Yeah,
like
it's 45 minutes away.
Yep.
Yeah, and like for me at Monster, it was like I got through the tunnel. I had a decent shot. Second shot is literally like better than I could have hoped for. And I was like, dude, all I have to do is just throw a straight shot out there. And then literally like, that's my bread and butter, 300, even if it's 300 and some change, get it up to like 15 feet from the pin, then tap it in and take the 5.
Yeah.
And then I just fucking early released it and threw it right into the woods. And I was so pissed. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And yeah, like those guys, like you're one, it's not just money, but like playing at that level and being like, I'm going to win this
It's
tournament.
such an investment. It's such a time investment. It's more, this kind of is more fun than I thought it was going to be. It's also more involved than I thought it was going to be. And I'm really glad. Like, I hope that more people get in on it, because I think the people that give it a chance and like try it and ultimately, I guess, have the time to do it would really enjoy it too. Because it's a really interesting thing.
It's a crazy thing.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it helps you as far as like really get a check in on your mental game.
Yeah. There's been times where like, I'm going to be fine. And then it's like Disckhana time. And it's like, oh, here's some pressure. My hands are a little more clammy. It's a little bit of this. Like, and then I feel like I have a pretty good mental, but it's still like, this is good. Like, I don't remember where it was. It might have been Lakeshore when, after a couple times of playing the pond hole or whatever, where it's like, okay, like this is adding pressure. Like, it's not, if I feel this, I'm sure other people are getting something similar, more or less, whatever, but at least it's creating pressure, kind of like how we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And
a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And it's awesome. And then, so I upgraded when we went to ponds at Lakeshore, and I birdied it the first time. And then Dan already has it. And then we refused to play the woods course because of how bad the bugs were.
Yeah.
So we just played that course again, and I birdied it again. And it was just hilarious because both times I made a jump putt for 2 on it from like outside the circle.
Yeah.
Obviously jump putt, but like neither of them were like close. It was like ace running and then like behind the tree on the left side, make it. But the first time I made it, I you know how you threw your putt too high and you hit the branch or whatever? I did basically the same thing, but I got lucky. There's like a little elbow in the tree that lifts up. If it was flat, I would have hit it, but it like went right through that and then just fell right in. I was like, yes. And then the second time through, I made that putt. And I was like, of course. But I felt there was no pressure anymore because it's like, dude, now it's just aces. Now I can just like run it or whatever. And
I ran hole 3 at Cass for a 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I almost put it in the water.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's nothing else to do. Like, I got a good drive. I'm out in the flat. I'm a little bit farther over to the right, so that tree's not an issue.
Yeah.
And I just fucking ran it. I'm like, dude, all I have to gain here is a 3. I mean, all I have to gain here is a 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I take a 4, like we're out there for leagues, like it is what it is. I can try to make up that stroke somewhere else, but like I want the fucking 2. I thought I had the ace on 10.
Yeah.
It was like,
and in a way you did.
yeah, like
You did.
just right on the line, boom. And I was like, dude, fucking sweet. But yeah, I like the amount that I've learned from Disckhana. 1 is worth the time I've put into it, but 2, hands down, is worth the $30.
Yeah.
Like, that's dumb to think of like the $30. But I was thinking of that, like the way that it, like all the tournaments I played this year, even like winning tournaments, like Dude, the pressure, even at Hunt Hideaway against RC, like coming down the stretch doing all that, like the pressure in that moment versus like trying to get the fucking birdie on hole 1 at Toboggan, like that putt, that pressure, like finishing up the tournament was nothing compared to that.
Yeah.
Because it was just like, you know, I mean, it really wasn't, because there's someone else there also, you know what I mean? And it's like, they could still mess up, or, you know what I mean? Like something can happen, whatever. If I par this, I can make it up on the next hole, or whatever the fuck it is. Or with Disckhana, it's not.
Yeah.
There's no like, well, maybe the other guy's going to miss it.
Right.
No, it's I'm going to have to do this whole fucking thing all over again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe like it depends on the hole. Like maybe I'm not going to be here again. Like maybe I'm not going to make it to here.
Yeah.
Again. Like
yeah,
there's
like
no
if you missed
guarantee.
hole 1, you're screwed.
Well, not even that.
Yeah,
like if we realistically landed at 35 feet on hole 5 at fucking
Yeah, well,
Rolling,
I'm saying just now in this time of year.
Yeah.
Like Toboggan's not in.
Right. But I'm saying like even like you get to 35 feet at hole 5 at Rolling.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, I actually have like a legitimate bid.
Yeah.
Nothing's in your way, and you got that putt. The reality is, if I miss this putt, I might never make it back to 35 feet from this pin again.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And this is a huge swing. Like this is a score separator because it's
Big time.
Like everyone's gonna 3 it.
Yeah.
Rarely are you gonna 4 it. If you 4 it, you're gonna come back and you're just gonna 3 it.
Yeah, the first 5
And
holes
then-
don't take that long.
So yeah.
But when Will hit the putt on 15 at Stony for the 2, it was fucking epic. And I think the reason that he hit it was because it was so far out that it wasn't like a realistic bid.
Gotcha.
Because it was like 70 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a jump. He just kind of threw it at it, and it went in. And I was thinking in my head, if you were 20 feet closer, not just you, me, anybody, I'm just thinking.
That 20-footer.
If you were 20 feet closer and it was like 45 feet out or 50 feet out, you would have never even fucking come close.
Yeah.
Because the nerves would have been so much of like, holy fuck, this is the thing.
The chances of potato hand or what the fuck was that or much higher.
Way higher. We're like that. Like you're so far out. It's like, I'm just going to give this a bid. And it went in. I'm not saying it wasn't a great putt. It was an epic putt.
Yeah,
it
ends in,
eagle.
dude. You got the 2. Sick.
Yep. But on my end, I was like, right when he made it, I was thinking like, oh, that's awesome. Because there's only a couple of us in the whole tournament that have the chance for eagle on that hole. But once he hit it, I was like, fuck yeah. And then as we were walking to 16, I was just thinking like, yeah, if you were 20 feet closer, you probably had like 40% less of a chance to make that putt.
Did you tell him that?
No, I didn't say anything about it. 'Cause I didn't want him to think that I was trying to undercut his achievement, and I wasn't. Like, is amazing.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking like, yeah, dude, if I was 70 feet out, I probably have a better chance of making that putt than I do from 45.
Yeah, because it's a low percentage putt.
Like,
and if you miss it, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 45.
You just want to
like,
at least
holy
give
shit.
it like, it was chain high. It was like up in the air or whatever. And it just didn't happen.
12 feet to the right of the basket. But it was a bid. I mean, it was a bid.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah,
I
but
still want it to it. I think I can get the 2 on it.
It's
for
been,
Disckhana. We'll see.
It's been crazy. I made it to where he made the putt from.
Mm-hmm.
I made it there.
Yeah.
So like I could hit a 70 foot. I just think like for me, I'd probably have a better shot at hitting the eagle on hole 10 at Addison than I do from getting the 2 on 15 at Stony.
Okay.
That's how I honestly think about it. Like I probably in my skill set, I probably have a better shot of hitting like 10.
An ace versus.
Yeah, an ace on 10 versus like getting my drive out there, you know, because I don't know the lawn mow situation. So like I think my best chance to do that would be like a roller.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If I could like rip a roller out. But the issue is they don't really fucking mow the lawn. So then I got to hit the roller like around the corner onto the fairway.
And then navigate only the short grass.
And navigate the short grass because once it gets to the tall grass, it's just going to stop.
Yeah.
So on that one, I'm just like, there's other holes. My big one right now are just the 2 big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just want to get the fucking 5 on Monster, which I now feel like isn't that big of a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just want to get the 5 at Bald, which I'm still just infinitely frustrated with.
Yeah. Yeah. I got it early on. It was I think it was more nonchalant. And as soon as I got it, I was like, oh, I got a 5. And then I was like, dude, fuck yeah. Like, that's a big swing. I'm the only one that has a 5 on the hole right now.
Yeah.
And
it sucks to play that hole. Because no matter what, by the time you get to the hole, you're kind of worn out.
Yeah. I'm just pissed that I still have to go to Bald Mountain because I know it can 3 fucking piece of shit hole 9. It's not a piece of shit. It kind of is because it's not being cut and stuff. And it's just really, the whole course is frankly like pretty ugly right now and just uncut and just whatever. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, just hole 9. I'm just so frustrated that I have yet to have like a good tee shot to even try to get up there for a 3 putt. Like is just so frustrating.
So my first, I've threed it a few times, but my first 3,
Yeah.
I hardly got over the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And I was like up there on the slant, stand still, flex forehand.
Okay.
Put it like 10 feet from the basket. It
Perfect.
literally just went like the blue surge, just went like off to the left, like just got through all the stuff, cut back to the right. And I was like,
dude, sick.
I can't,
Yeah.
like, it was the same thing, like low expectations. I was like, well, I always figured it'd be like a meteor shot up the right because that's what I was throwing at the time.
Yeah.
But I threw the flex and it was the same thing. Like, well, if this doesn't make it, obviously, like no one's counting on me to do this shot. And so I just stood there and threw it, and it just like literally coasted through, went up at a 10-footer. Like, I was like, sweet.
Easy peasy.
And then I probably got like a 24 on hole 13 and was like, I'm going to go stab myself in the leg with a fork.
Yeah, I took a 9 yesterday, so we'll just get that out there. That's easily one of the biggest numbers I've taken. I don't think I'm in double-digit club.
Yeah.
I don't think so. But yeah, I've had a couple 8s before, and I remember joking about how Phil and I, when we were at MVP last year, they had all the courses, like I can only imagine, are just sweet because it's so, one, well maintained, two, they put a lot of time and energy, effort into like not only just having a course, but like people, like it's a key location for like a disc golfer. Like it's one of those prestigious things of like, dude, I'm here at like Maple Hill, like gold. Like this is where like some shit goes down, and it's known for being awesome and brutal and whatever. But we were playing like a little 3-hole whatever, going back and forth, and we get to like the 250 hole, and I took an 8 because I threw the same shot 3 times in a row. Sidearm, hit a tree, roll back, couple more times, same thing, and then like I take a 9 on that. I'm like, sweet. So this hole is just as hard as that 250-foot hole back at Maple, which isn't even that goddamn hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I got the 6.
wild.
I got the 6 yesterday, and I was just so pissed.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of let it go. I was like, oh, whatever. But like,
dude, that shot to the basket was so fucking nasty, and it looked really good. Like that was one of the best drives I think I've seen you throw, just like form wise. Like the shot could have hit the fucking tree right in front of you, and I would have still thought the same thing because it was like really fluid and whippy and quick.
Yeah.
And like it was just different than what I normally see how you throw.
Yeah, the third shot that I had, I was super pissed because I had to hit a tight line, which is fine.
Yeah.
It was a straight shot. I was going to let Pipe Slayer out, tiniest bit of hyzer, have it go out and fade over because I know for the upshot I'd rather be on the right. And I was literally just going to like gun it down wherever it goes. As long as I end up on the right, I'll have some shot up and a putt.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't going for like big distance. There's so many fucking logs on the ground.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even have a way. Like I'm like sitting there and like I had like a 2-step kind of like half X step thing to get up there to throw it. And it's not a shot I was confident because what I was trying to hit was pretty tight to do a standstill. Because like I have good accuracy on the standstill, but I was like, I don't want to leave this up to a standstill. Like I want to come up. And then as I'm standing there, it's just like logs on the ground. And I'm like looking at it and it's wet and it's muddy. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to move all these fucking logs because they're like legit. And I'm looking and I move all the sticks out of the way. And I just don't have anywhere to like run to throw the shot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, it's like the hole is complicated enough, and I'm like, here, I'm not even like, I'm like just off the fairway, and like there's just fucking trees, like there's just logs everywhere, and I'm like, dude, like this is so stupid.
Yeah.
That I'm here, and now it's gonna come down. It's not gonna come down to like this fucking crazy shot. It's gonna come down to like this fucking crazy shot. After, for me, I've just thrown 2 exact shots that I was trying to do. Like I'm 2 for 2. Now for my third one, I have to throw another shot that's like very demanding with like 2.5 step run up.
Yep.
Because there's a fucking log on the ground here.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and then I threw it, I hit the tree, I kicked the left. And that's all it was going to do. I'm either going to make it through, I'll be up there, pitch up, take the 5, or I'm going to hit something fucking stupid and then hope from the woods that I'm in, I can get up near the basket and then try to make some run.
Yeah. To get a 4 on that hole, I don't know how many times you're going to say it. Like legitimately, your 3 shots to be putting 4-4 are going to be, I mean, I haven't seen it and like anything better than like Dan's attempt, and it's still like he didn't get the 4. Like you're gonna throw 3 of your best shots of your career, I feel like. Yeah. The most spectacular way, and then just with some amount of luck too involved. Like I don't. It's why it's too much, and it's how easily you can just pick up stuff and then just put it to a spot and then get like a gator or something. I don't know what tools they have to work with, but even just like moving it to one spot out of the way really doesn't take that much time. Yeah. Like having moved stuff so many times in my life and how much work it's just one of those, you put your head down and you just do it. And it's literally like I pick things up, I put it down, I pick it up, put it down, back and forth. And I don't know. I mean, I'd like to have the okay to like go out there and just like clean a hole up and be like, let me just have say on this hole and I'll make it like the prettiest I possibly can make it and the nicest I feel I could possibly make it. And then if you hate it, great. And then I'll just go fuck myself or whatever. I really don't think that would be the case though. I really feel like I'd put something that would be like really pretty and really fair and like playable and still have it be like the challenge that it needs to be. Because like your shot is challenging enough as it is. Why do you need all this extra stuff just cause?
Yeah.
Like it was knocked down and it laid there. Granted, like trees like are dead there and they're just gonna fall and limbs break or whatever. But it feels like a lot of the stuff that was like cut down to make the hole happen exists where it was cut down at.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. And maybe that's the thing. Maybe like I just go out there, or maybe we just go out there and just like move stuff farther off the side of the fairway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just like get, 4 people or whatever it is and just do it. 'Cause some of that stuff's heavy as shit.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna be able to move it by yourself.
Yeah.
And just like move the stuff over more. 'Cause even if you just had like all those things moved by the water, one, it would help like stop discs from going into the water. But 2, it'd make like the rest of it like, okay, so if you like the fact that you're coming in and then it just slants so hard to the left and then you just have like trees and shit over there is one thing. But then when you get over there, like there's no way to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Because there's just like, all right, now I'm going to have a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have a standstill on however fucking long the hole is. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, is the idea behind it like, well, every time you go up the fairway, then you just pitch up?
Yeah.
Like, is that how it's supposed to be played? Because you can't run
Because
up?
that's what it is right now.
That's what it is.
That's
what
it is
And
right
you try
now.
to cheat it, and then you hit a tree, and you fucking shoot off into the shit.
Every time, because it's like almost there, and it's like, man, that shot should be there. And by no means does that make the shot any less difficult. It just makes it more plausible to try to like make something sweet happen. Because now, like if you threw that shot, like now with everything that's there, it's like, dude, that's so nasty and also crazy lucky too. Like that's amazing that was even like done.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that yet. Like
so at Monster, I early released my shot and it just went straight into the fucking woods. So I go to my disc and I'm like in the woods.
Yeah.
But I'm standing there and I look and I see literally like this big at the edge of the woods, like 70, 90 feet away from me, like up here, there's one hole.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I need to try to get the 5. I need to try to put this up at the basket. No matter what, I'm going to do a full send through that hole and just pray to God.
Yeah. Hope it works.
And if I hit it and it knocks down, then it's the same as pitching out. And what I'm not going to get the 5 anyway. So who the fuck cares?
Mm-hmm.
And like I had a tree kind of close to me. So I had to like lean back and then come through and like whatever it was. But it was still like I did it. Like I did hit the tiny spot and the disc did get all the way out. And I just didn't throw something stable enough. But it was the only disc I knew that had enough glide that if I did get through, I could get there. It's like match play. Like all I have to do, it's either I get up to the basket or I don't.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters.
Yep.
And but I still had the chance to do it. It was a crazy fucking shot. I had a like weird swing through and I had a tiny window to hit. But I also then didn't have like fucking logs everywhere and like, like I couldn't also not run.
Yeah.
Or like do a walk up or anything. And it's like that hole's hard enough as it is. Like you should at least be able to like
navigate with your feet.
Navigate to be able to do a throw. It shouldn't
Yeah.
just be like, all right, you're on the fairway or it's a standstill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And just because we're disc golfers doesn't mean like we like being in the woods, but we don't like being in the jungle.
And
or
I don't
something.
like
It
hurting
doesn't-
myself.
Yeah. Like I don't. It's as I found out, it's more physically demanding than ball golf, like by a lot. You're doing like an athletic thing with your whole body. That's you could easily injure yourself.
Yeah.
Like real bad.
I think ball golf it's a different demanding.
Good comparison of match play to Disckhana.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The I think if you get into like more physically demanding, I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of another.
Mm-hmm.
I think ball golf itself, when you are like legitimately like full send into it, is very physically demanding.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard on specific parts of your body, as disc golf is.
Yeah.
As a whole, I think the round is much more demanding in disc golf than it is in ball golf.
Yeah.
But those dudes, like the strain they're putting on their body on the tee when
Mhm.
they're hitting a fucking driver, There's a serious,
I'm sure.
serious amount of effort and
Yeah.
serious amount of like strain on the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like watching Dan throw a drive, like he's putting a lot of torque on that body and like
Mhm.
it's a full,
Yep.
like it's all into it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. And the, yeah, like you watch like a real like high level golfer like swing a driver. You're like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
It's full send.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you hit me with that, like,
You'd be dead.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd at least have a
I'm
hard time saying your name properly. For shizzle.
Oh yeah.
So in the practice realm, what are you looking, like I was talking earlier, like my limited dedication to X or Y. I'm still trying to figure out like my game plan.
Mm-hmm.
What is your game plan in terms of like the amount of work that you're putting in and then tournaments and competition wise? Like, are you just looking to move forward in turning your form into its final form?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Regardless
Totally,
of
'cause
anything else.
It's weird because there's some sort of familiarity with it. Like it feels familiar, but
It just feels right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it feels right. It feels familiar. Like maybe I've done some form of it like in past or whatever. It's just it's similar to like I know like the rhythm to that song that I know I really like and it's just right there and then somebody just blurts it out and you're like, "Thank God."
Yeah.
And now like you kind of have free range to like listen to it whenever you want. You can figure out the lyrics, blah blah blah. It's not just this rhythm that you know in your head.
Right.
They're like that's kind of like along the lines of what I've got here. So really the practice is making it into like its final form, but the biggest step is just having that feel and just getting the reps in where I know I need them, how discs fly, how to throw it with those discs, and then like what I can really do with those.
Yeah.
And like what's more possible now and like relatively easier. Like there's a couple shots out there where like Dan was saying like, remember that time when I was telling you like how whippy you were looking and you were like coming through fast and it was like, wow. And I don't really get that often. It's like, dude, are you even throwing the disc? Because I don't understand. Like
Yeah.
it's going far, but like you're not doing anything. But it's like, I don't know what to say because I don't know what that is because it feels like I'm trying pretty damn hard. And so I think that was good. And I can like get the blood rush to my hand now, even just like standing and doing box drill or whatever. I know what I need to do. But like throwing discs and then Dan being like, holy shit. I'm like, okay, so like there's something there and I know what that feeling is.
Yeah.
And like it was just kind of like a walk up, like 1, 2, 3, bam, like 1, 2, 3, set up, enter. It was all it was. It wasn't like a David Wiggins run up, yada yada. I was like, okay, like there was it was like one of the first drives with a fast disc, like after working with like putters and mids, because I was like, they're harder to throw, but once you learn how to do that and get that feeling, it's more beneficial, and then move up to like the harder discs, which to me has always been like weirdly counterintuitive, I feel like, but like it makes sense, at least to me. Like throwing putters and mids to get clean form, and then you get faster with that. I don't know, it's just like a really exciting thing. I told Dan it's like we're playing a new game.
Yeah.
Like it's like disc golf again.
New and
which
improved.
is wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a different look on it than I did before, just because I truly feel like having been on like a plateau or something that might be like gradually like moving upwards, like I feel like I'm trending upwards like at a significant more angle,
Yeah.
like upwards.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, where's like my next plateau? Like where does this put me where I feel like I've gotten what I've needed to have gotten out of it,
Yeah.
and do the best that I can with it? What does that look like? And then where's next?
Mine is actually feeling like for the first time, like I have a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
Because I could never, like, it's the same thing when you look at discs and you're like, oh, yeah, this one's this. And then you're like, I stand there and I'm looking at the disc and I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
What are you seeing?
Me too, what you said. And then
Yeah.
the same thing, like, when we're down here and you guys are, like, filming form. And then, like, I'm watching the video and you're like, yeah, you see this? And I'm just like, yep. Yeah,
Wait, you're secretly not though?
sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm not, because
Okay.
there's always been this bubble of understanding that I don't get.
Okay.
And I've asked you, and I've asked Dan, and I've asked Skylar, and I've talked to other people about it, and like the response that I get just doesn't make sense because what I'm doing is not what I should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So then there's no answer there. So as I keep, like, my thing is trying to fill this answer, and the reality is like, I think filling this answer is going to fix this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is by fixing this thing, you realize that like there is no answer here because this isn't actually part of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm trying to solve for Z so I can figure out what X is.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can figure out X, like if I can just tell you X,
you
realize
need Z.
you realize that Z's not even in the equation, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Yep.
So I feel like I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out for Z.
Yeah.
And in the end,
But
it's
now
like,
you know Z doesn't.
it's
matter.
not even part of it.
Yeah.
It's not even part of it. And then the answer is the fact that like I'm just a hardcore puller,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not rotating at all.
Yeah.
And that's why my arms, like, that's why it's just an arm throw.
Mm-hmm.
And like it started with like protecting my legs and whatever it is, because my knee being shitty and me developing a form that way. And then as I'm trying to engage my legs, the way that I'm trying to engage my legs is not actually engaging my legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just changing my steps and whatever it is, or like trying to do this or trying to do that. And only recently, when I tried to just throw with a straight arm, did I feel my legs in my throw. Like this year.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
when we were at the field and we were throwing and you hit me with that pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that day was like the second time. And what I was doing was just trying to throw with a straight arm
Okay.
to actually feel my legs come in. So I could feel my
Gotcha.
legs doing that. And it was only the second time I'd done it. I did it the one time when I was at the field with Dan.
Okay.
And it was the first time in my life, all the years of disc golf, where I was like, I feel my legs in this throw.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like trying to figure out like, okay, so then if my legs are in it, then I'm still at Z a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just kind of realized like this will be the fix. So if I can do this and just continuously work my legs in and get comfortable with my legs, how they're coming into it and pulling it, then instead of doing this as my throw, I'll just break. I'll just let my arm break and go, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'm just going to learn to teach my lower body, just not even fucking with my arm.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep this part at 90 degrees and just gun it and then follow through.
Yeah.
And it'll fix my legs. And then once my legs are fixed, I'll do the same thing, but I'll just break my arm as I'm coming through. And that was like my approach to doing it. And then watching these videos, it was very much like, yes, that makes sense, but also like I wouldn't have gotten to the answer that way because like the way that I'm thinking about using my legs is still wrong
Yeah.
in terms of like how it's actually like generating rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Where this way here it's just very simple of like boom, boom, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it was similar to like, I don't know if it made sense to you, but like when I was talking about the popsicle stick thing, like if there's the one that your shoulder and arm and whatever, it was like how I could see I could see it in my head, but not super clearly. And then like when we were watching Overthrow, it was more clear because it was like that's how I was thinking of it, just not knowing how to like put the words to it. And then also with the flaw with that is you have no rest of the body. It's good for like what your upper's doing, but how do you get there with the rest of your body and then execute that? And then him with the you get in box position and you're just focusing on belt buckle and he's like, good, you've mastered your legs. Like
Yeah.
that's literally it. Like they're big muscles, they can only do a couple things. Do this and then focus on that and then it just works.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really elegant and simple answer, which is always the funniest. But I've been watching more pros and just seeing like how like they obviously don't follow this guy because this guy started putting these videos out recently,
Yeah.
and Simon's been playing since he's like -4 years old. Like it's not a surprise that he does it. Basically, like it's there. You can see it pretty fucking clearly. I feel like, and then pretty much with everybody else, like where the hit is, and it's like this just makes way more sense now. Like there's a vocabulary, I guess, that you can associate with that, or like definitions, however you want to think of it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And then we were talking with Dan, and it was a lot of those guys, like I don't know if you use like Simon and Eagle or whatever. In a way, I guess they in some way they like stumbled upon what this guy is talking about and they like got it right, and then they happen to be the person who like were built in a good way for disc golf, and then has started at a young age, but then also on top of it figured out like a really efficient, proper way to do it and getting everything like just right. And then this guy can explain just what they're doing and how to do it and why.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sweet. Like, very cool. Like, good for those guys. Like, that's awesome. But thank you also for being the guy to define it.
So my question with myself is, do I have 2 throws? Do I end up with 2 backhand throws?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In the same way of like, I guess a forehand, you know what I mean? Like you're not using as many parts of your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as much of a complex movement on a forehand as it is a backhand. But for me, I just look at like, okay, so I understand this one rotationally and coming through. Bless you. No, just one. It's podcast.
All right, nice.
So I see like rotationally as I'm coming through for this throw, I get it. And I understand how the disc comes out and I understand how the disc flies and I understand that. But like, do I also use the other throw in specific situations?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're going to have differences because it made sense to me in like the disc golf fundamentals where you got Kenny and Dave like showing you that you can throw a hyzer with a Roadrunner or whatever. It's a touchy shot, but with an understable disc you're going to get more left or whatever. But they had basically a drive where you're trying to give it all she's got, so you're going to be very linear with like leading with the elbow and getting everything you can into it, versus an upshot where you're going to change your form. And their rule of thumb, at least at the time, and I still think is a pretty good rule for control, is wrist above your elbow. Like you're still getting the same motion, but you're trying to have more touch with it. You're not trying to kill the disc. You're trying to have a set distance to control into a certain spot or whatever. Right. So it's similar and not at the same time. There's different variables, I think, is what we're going to have with this. And I'm not sure if he has like approach shot videos. I know he's got like a couple like tips and tricks, but I don't know if he's got as in depth as what's out there right now. But I can only assume or imagine that it's going to be a slight variation and there's going to be a different process behind it.
Yeah, I just mean even like on the tee. You know what I mean?
I see.
Like,
yeah.
Because for me, like if I get over, right? So if I get over and do this, I just look at like, because you have this like big, high speed maneuver with big muscle groups, and it's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's shots that like the way that I currently throw, that I will always be more accurate the way that I currently throw it versus the other form.
Okay.
I know the other form I'll have shots that I can throw that I can't currently throw just by the amount of like pop I can get on the disc and whatever it is. But I'm interested to see like once I feel like, yes, I have this, yes, I can do this, and I can like watch my form and be like, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Are there still going to be shots where I'm like knowingly not using that form and instead using like a pulling form because it helps me do X? Like very specifically in my mind, like if I need to release a disc that's going to come out like hyzer flip wise and it's going to go straight out of my hand, right? Like, is it easier for me to take in variables or to allow certain variables to take place and still get off a good shot with a pull versus a rotational throw? Because the rotational throw, the variables are going to move me more. Where on a pull, if I let it go early, it's just low.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when I do a hyzer flip, if I release it early, sometimes it's to the left, but for the most part, it just comes out low because I'm releasing it as I'm coming through. But because I'm pulling it through, it's more directly on the line the entire way.
Mm-hmm.
So as I let it go, you know what I mean? Like, so even if I can dial this in, the amount of like bend I'd have to get over it to do that, is that going to be worth it, or is it just more, does it make more sense to my brain to just throw the other way?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I think for me, it's just I can still do all the same shots that I would do before, but I think more efficiently as I learn them. One of them being like turnovers. Like when we're out in the field practicing, like Anheuser being the more there's more variables in it because it's not the way the disc is normally falling. You're forcing it into a different direction. I still feel like I can not, it's really hard for me to mess it up out there. Like hitting the angle like every time. Dan and I both had like a couple really good sets where we were throwing to, it was probably like a little past hole 2 at Firefighters, like just turnovers to these field goals or whatever, and being in like the 30-foot circle. Like I threw 5 or 10 total, Dan threw 10 total. I think combined we had 3 outside the circle, and they were all relatively like the same angle and the same ease every time, to the point where I was like, remember the first time when we were doing like Anheuser's, like I was struggling to hit the line, like the angle that I wanted, and I had to like really focus on it. This one I'm just like, all right, this is what I want to do. This is how I need to set up. And then I go into like the command of like box, belt buckle, 10 o'clock, and then like execute, whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to go out and throw hyzers with these other discs just to see, because like I know I can do it. Maybe it'll end up being easier than I think. It's just, I don't know, because I have to go do it.
Yeah.
That's why like throwing some of the shots when we were at Willow, throwing faster discs, I was throwing them not as good as I feel like I could have old way, but also I had to remember like I'm trying to throw a new form, but I haven't done it with these discs, so I'm not really sure what they're doing. I'm just taking my best guess at it, and for the most part they're going to work out, but like it's not going to be as dialed in as if I had at least a week of doing it with FDs or something. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So I don't know. I feel like overall I'm going to have just like this form, get really in tune with it, and then I'll be able to just still throw all the shots that I could before I feel like just better overall, more efficient, more consistently.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like getting to where I got on hole 1 at Bald yesterday was like, I feel like just not a flex at it. I threw like flat and then hyzer, and I was still almost like pin deep or something. And it's like, man, if I could have got that turned, I probably should have thrown not that disc on it, because it would have flown much farther or something. And I feel like it was super easy and efficient. It was just, it's the same shot that we were throwing in the field. I just thought the wind was going to turn it way more. I was astonished that wind didn't turn that disc.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, that's cool, because I really like it. I got the Calvin Halo Destroyer. They had one or whatever up at the throw shop, and I was like, yeah, I like this guy. I'll spend $25 for you.
Yeah.
You're the guy, dude. And then it was like, this is a fucking sweet destroyer anyways. It's shaped really nice, so like I'm going to throw it everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. I think just getting reps, maybe it'll be more efficient for you. Maybe you do it better after doing those reps.
Yeah.
And like get a better feel for it, because I don't know. I think having one form to juggle versus like 2, off the tee or whatever, like you were saying, for me at least, would probably be a little more dicey. Maybe for you have a better grasp on it. Who knows? But
Yeah, I don't know, because I was just thinking in terms of like, like putting. You know what I mean? Like ultimately, there's like, 6 putts that you should have in your repertoire.
Mm-hmm.
When they're watching and they're like, yeah, this guy's the fucking man, because he can bounce around between, a pitch putt, a spin putt, stagger putt, straddle putt, jump putt, whatever it's going to be, step putt. Like that's what you need. Like Yuli has 25 putts, whatever the fuck it is that he does. He's got the, you know what I mean? Like all that. I just look at like, those are completely different mechanics. Like the pitch putt isn't like the spin putt just taken down lower instead of, you know what I mean? It's a completely different set of mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And I think like those guys dial that stuff in. But I was wondering then, like at that, okay, so then do you have, like, would I end up with like 2 different drives that I could utilize for whichever one's better?
Mm-hmm.
Like if this one's better for this shot, if this one's better for that shot.
Yeah, probably.
Like, I don't know. Because people have like a max distance form versus their like golf shot form.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you watch the Ezra video and he's talking about like just throwing for pure distance, it's like a totally different thing that he's doing. He's opening this up. He's, you know what I mean? He's doing all this stuff to try to like add something to it. And I was just like, I wonder if that's it.
Yeah.
Because I think like when I play, I do well because of my accuracy of being able to throw straight shots.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, is it going to be easier to throw straight shots a different form or not? You know what I mean? I don't know. That'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just excited to go. I'm going to go tomorrow. I'm going to work with FDs because that's the most that I have of like a fairway driver, and I really like them. So
Yeah.
I've got 20-ish or something like that. So like probably take 10 bright colored ones and then just go throw from probably like 350, see how that goes on like hyzers, because that's like a really good indicator of for me how efficient I can throw those hyzers. Because like I threw a couple where like I couldn't control my height very well, so I'd rather throw it too high than too low, just to see like where I can get the disc going, I guess. And I had a couple hyzers with the Destroyer and the PD2, like back to the basket. Like I got it good, but I wasn't too fast with it, and it still went like 100 long in the basket. And I was like, okay, like there's that there. I see the potential.
Yeah.
And I just thought about this again right now was distance control makes more sense to me now, because really what's controlling my distance is how not only efficient it is, but the speed in which you're efficient adds to that distance, which makes way more sense than just trying to throw it harder, which like in a way you're just trying to be quick with it. And again, how he explains that, I'm very grateful that he can like compile the words and have them make sense. Where like you want to get to the point where you're losing that, and then like that's your max distance speed to get more distance, more practice, more reps at that speed to get more comfortable with it, to then try to be a little faster. A lot of that made a lot of sense of like, okay, so like I can do the same thing just from like right here. So I don't need to like whip my belt buckle or like even get my hand involved. I just like get my hand to my side and use the belt buckle just a little, and I can throw this putter 250 on a hyzer to the basket. And then like, all right, now I just set up the same way. How many times in a row can I throw what I think is like the exact same shot every time? Like we both had a couple sets out there that it was like, that's the same, that's the same, that's the same. Obviously there's differences, but it like, to the imperfect human or whatever, it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
Which I was like, okay, like you can probably get like really precise with this. Like we're getting here and we're a week in or something. Like,
Yeah.
what does a couple months look like, or a couple weeks rather, of working on the same thing, which is super cool. So like, again, it's like a whole new game.
Yeah.
I feel like we're playing.
Yeah, for me it was interesting when I went to Spindler that day. I did one cart of throwing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done it 3 times.
Okay.
I forgot about that. And I threw 400 feet.
Pardon me.
You're okay. I
yeah.
threw 400 feet on 2-step walk up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. And then watching them fly was super cool. That was the first time that I did it with that, with
Mm-hmm.
the throw. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. Way easier on my body.
Mm-hmm.
Way less to think about. I still hadn't worked on like the grip.
Yeah.
So it's still like falling out of my hand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It still wasn't like, because now I'm getting more rotation and the disc is pulling out of my hand
Mm-hmm.
over here versus like when I pull through, it's not pulling out of my hand the same way.
Yeah.
It's definitely way more pulling out of my hand over here
Mm-hmm.
than it is over here. So I hadn't like grabbed onto that idea. And only when I was at Hudson then is I was like, I'm going to finally do it. Like we always talk about like, well, what if you throw too hard and like something really bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we were at Hudson, there's no one out there. And I was like, I'm going to grip this thing as fucking tight as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to like try to time up my timing as I can and just like kind of leave my arm a little bit looser than I normally do, because normally I'm pretty tight on my arm. I'm like, I'm a bit looser, but the only thing I'm going to concentrate on is like, I'm going to fucking hold this disc
Mm-hmm.
and watch where it comes out. And it came out in the right spot
Perfect.
and just ripped out. And I was like, fuck yeah, like I'm on to
Yeah.
something. I only had like 3 more throws after that.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, that's fucking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's cool. And that's the one that I was like really surprised. Like the disc went really far, but it didn't like turn as much as I thought it was going to do,
Mm-hmm.
which then I was like super excited, because my whole thing with the grip is like, I don't know what I think. Like it's going to rip out and like fly way over to the right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I did that yesterday when I was
Nice.
warming up at Bald with the Scorch, because there was a little bit of headwind,
Yeah.
and I tried like with the grip and it went like over the road to the right. It was a big throw,
Yeah.
but it was just like coming over, and I was like, it's going to hook up. And then it's like,
No.
and I was like, oh, that's going over the road. And then I saw it like skip, and I was like,
Yeah.
we're in the woods over there.
Perfect.
Yeah. No one got hurt though. So
Yeah.
it was fine.
Yeah, I've had a couple interesting things, like yesterday when I threw the FD on hole 2, that orange one.
Yeah. Yeah,
I feel like it was
over.
such a late turn, and I was like, that's sweet, because I really got a hold of it. Like, it felt real clean, real poppy, and then it was like, I think that disc got like 99% of the energy I generated into it, and that's just like how it flew.
Yeah.
It's like, that's fucking sweet. Because one, like, I forgot I even had that. It was stashed somewhere else in like my on the road like backups or whatever, and I'm like, sweet, at least I got that. Like, it's a bright color, it feels really nice. It's not this pink one that Bauman signed that won't be thrown unless need be, I guess. But
Yeah.
even then I still won't probably. I probably shouldn't. I regret sometimes throwing discs.
Yeah.
But maybe I just want to collect more recently.
I like half-ass regret acing with discs.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Because I have like a sweet disc. And then
Yeah.
I ace with it and I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
I guess it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love aces. My thing is, so I said something the other day about what was it? People sign discs weird out here or
Yeah.
whatever. Because my first interaction with people signing discs was people writing like a sentence or something on there, or like a couple words, and then putting their name or PDGA number or both, or like, dude, sick shot, or great shot, this and that, nice tree love, blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, I love it. Like, even if you got like some bullshit chicken scratch handwriting, you can't spell word, like, I want that ink on there. I didn't experience that until like my first, I think it was at Stony on I think I aced 16 or something, and I had like Bauman, Rabin, and someone else sign it, and then it was literally just their signatures. And to myself, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, what about like nice jobs and this and that and whatever? It's literally like just your signature and that's it.
Larry.
Like, you had nothing
Yeah.
nothing to say, I guess.
Larry, I was here.
And then I got like more aces, and then it was more of the same thing, and then I was just like, I don't get it.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
right on people's discs.
Yeah.
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 I think it's funny. Like, I've aced, and then the people that are there aren't really disc golfers, and I have them sign it. Like the firefighters, when I was like running for aces all the time, there'd be like people walking by. I got an ace on 2 one time, and there were like 2 dudes walking by, and I had them sign my disc.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, "Can you sign this?" And
Were they like on the other side walking the path?
"No,
like,
they were like they're like walking back up by the road.
Okay.
So like the basket's here, and they're like by where the firefighter classic basket is.
Mm-hmm.
And I threw it in, and they said something. They're like, "Nice shot," and I was like, "Thanks." I was like, "Can you guys sign this?" And
Yeah.
they were like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, it's a tradition. Like if you saw it go in, you know what I mean. Like you sign
These
it."
are the witnesses.
Yeah,
to
you're
this
the,
ace,
yeah. I was like, "So you guys sign it?" And they were like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right,
Okay.
cool."
Nice.
So I remember like having them sign it, and they were like, "Yeah, that was a great shot." I was like, "Thanks." I was like, "Yeah, I threw a couple at it, you know."
Yeah.
It was funny like having them sign it.
Yeah. I used to say more often, like, dude, write whatever you want on it. Like, I don't care. And I've had a couple times where like I've gotten like like, you want me to ink it up? Like, I got it was a CET bird, like I aced. I have 2 aces on 16 at Stony Blue or whatever, and one of them, I think it was when I asked them to sign the first ace, they were like, "You want me to like put Sharpie on it?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, I'm never going to sell this disc. I do not care that it's CE. It's worth maybe $20 right now because CE is just some dog shit, I guess. But I've gotten that a few times. Like, "You want me to like mark this up, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the best kind of ink." And they're like, "Okay, that's weird." And then they still just like sign it anyway.
Yeah.
Eventually, I weaned off of like, write whatever you want on it, because nobody's going to. All they
Yeah.
want to do is just scribble their name on it.
I've had people refuse to sign an ace disc.
Really?
Yeah, they're like, "I don't do that." I'm like, okay. I forget who we played with, but when I aced at Fox, the one dude's like, "Yeah, I don't do that."
Really?
I was like, okay. I was like, "Really?" Because I thought he was joking with me.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, no, I just don't do that." I was like, okay.
Interesting. I wonder why.
I was like, "Can the rest of you guys sign this?" They were like, "Fuck yeah, man, that was sick." It was in the dark. It was awesome. But
That's funny.
Yeah.
I want to go back out there. It's been a while since I've been to Fox, and I
Yeah.
like Fox Creek a lot.
yeah, I would be interested to go back out there.
Yeah.
Go out there and
Last time I
rip it.
talked to anyone that played Fox Creek Leagues was last week, and they said it was still going on. And I know even I don't think they're past their like final like league day, but I know after their final league day, they like continue on
Yeah.
or whatever. Just as like a no points, whatever. It's just play for money that day and that's it, or
Yeah.
something. So maybe next Tuesday I'll go there. Try to go there maybe.
I was thinking of when I got the ace at Vienna, once we got in the car. Like, you guys signed it, and then we got in the car, and I was just thinking, like, I wonder how many courses I have aces at.
Yeah.
Because, like, I've gotten a few, like, random at a course, like Fox Creek.
Yeah.
I got one at the ponds, like one of the first times I went out there.
Mm-hmm.
I got like an ace. Like I have aces kind of like spread out. So just wondering, like, I wonder how many courses I have aces
Yeah,
at.
I just thought about this. I've wanted to make a video of like my ace bin collection or whatever, and like try to relive my aces. I don't know. Maybe we like do that for the podcast, or like make a video specifically on just that. But I think it'd be like really interesting to like go through the box of stuff. I guess I know you have me beat on aces. You have gone to a very aceable course to throw aces, so it makes sense that you have more aces. Yeah. But I feel like I'm for sure like missing. I wish I could have stayed on top of like at least keeping track of it on Disc Golf Scene, but I have long ever since put an ace in.
I every once in a while, and I haven't done it in a while. I don't know how many I have to put on there, but I'll just dump them all in one night at like 1 a.m.
Okay.
I'll just put them on because my aces are for me, and I know what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't need your commentary on them. I literally just put them on Disc Golf Scene so I can keep track of them. And also there's an indexing then, so I don't have to do when I was looking for that pig at Sunnybrook. Like where I just keep like digging through to try to find that disc to find out what hole it is. Like I can look at it and be like, right now, if I was like, oh, what courses have I aced on?
Mm-hmm.
I could go through and just like dig on Disc Golf Scene and find it. It's like easy for me. It also helps me keep them in order because eventually like I want to make something with all my ace discs. But basically at some point, like I'll just dump the last couple years. Like I only have like 3 a year or something the last few years because I've only, like I just stopped throwing for aces and I don't really, I don't really try for like cubby aces very much anymore or anything like that. So
Dan didn't even go practice today? He went and played Indy? You little shit.
What?
Dan just posted in the scorecards.
Who did he go play Indy with?
Kyle.
Today?
It looks like it. I mean, he just posted it today. He beat Kyle by 4 strokes. That is a very orange scorecard.
But
damn.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. Like, I'll dump them on there maybe at the end of this season of the last couple of years because I think I got like 2 or 3 last year. I've got 2 this year. Be interesting to see how it is and what my number actually is at this point. But I got sick of posting them and having people get in my shit about it.
Really?
I'm just like, yeah, dude, I'm good.
They get in your what about? Like, what do you mean? Like negatively?
Yeah, that they're not aces. That it's not an ace.
Oh, because it's like a 5th throw or
20th
something
throw,
or
whatever it is. Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah, cool, I get it.
Yeah.
Like I totally get it. Like on the disc itself, I just write me.
Yeah.
So I know this is a practice ace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. Like I'm never telling someone like, oh, I got more aces than you do.
Right.
It's never my thing. I'm never like, oh, I got this many aces. Like it's something I like. It helped me get form down. It helped me like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Whatever
you did what you were setting out to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I like it though. I'm just gonna have a trick this year. Replacing that Fierce isn't gonna be hard because I could easily just put that blue Challenger in because it's at least as flippy as that Fierce is.
Yeah.
Just the titanium Banger GT is gonna be hard. It's gonna be a hard guy to replace.
Yeah. I don't know. I can.
I'll
text like Barham or something.
I always just want the Wasp base. I got plenty.
Mm-hmm. Do you have no Wasp bases?
I have a bunch, but I mean those I have 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I have 2. I don't remember. Oh, I have the one at Fox, and then I have the one at Cass.
Did I see your one at Fox? I don't
know.
No. Okay.
We were out there at night. It was like me, Pinky, Herzog.
Oh, that's right, because you did the alternate for like the back hole up the hill thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got that one, and then I got the one at Cass during the tournament. Didn't get in the ace pool with the other Wasp.
That's right.
Yep. Dope. I got one at Mott warming up. I got hole 2 at Mott.
On the little hill or whatever.
Buzz SS. Yeah.
Nice.
Right the fuck in.
Perfect.
Boom. Fucking Bauman and Skylar were walking up the right side because we were warming up for the tournament.
Yeah.
So they're like halfway up. We were throwing. They're like, all right, just yell for if you're going to hit us. And so like they're walking, looking forward. Yeah. And it just goes right in. They're like, dude, sweet shot. Yeah. Like, got it.
That's awesome.
Got it. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah.
I think they signed it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that they did. Sick. I don't know. Maybe I just had Will sign it. Maybe I just didn't want to make a big deal out of it.
Maybe. Whatever.
Will, you want to sign this?
Yeah. Sign it.
Yeah. But I got Nubile Combs' signature first time.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
And then you got my signature for however many times at this point.
Got a few.
Whatever.
Yep.
I scuffed signing that disc so bad because I was like, dude, I should have just put whatever. But I was like, I already wrote good. And then I was like, I can't do whatever. And then I was like, dude, I could have put good whatever, you fucking idiot. And then I didn't do that. And it's just like, dude, I had messed it all up. And it's terrible. It's good job, period.
Good job. Nailed it.
Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. I like that.
Good.
I like that forehand grip. The way that he explains the grip in those videos.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah. I told you about standing in my bedroom with the throw or whatever. Yeah. So like for those out there now watching it, I was super interested in his sidearm video. So I was laying there like snuggling Amanda, watching some disc golf stuff, which I think she just pretends to like. But she actually does like more because there's days I come back. I don't know how fast she falls asleep to disc golf videos, but there's like the MVP on from like the day of or something, which I think is kind of cool. But we're watching some overthrow. I'm watching him like talk about sidearm, and then he gets to the point of, yeah, so when like you reach back, like you think you want to be back behind you. Really just like bring your arm out here. And then in my brain is like, oh, motherfucker, dude. Like one of the, like, how do you not think of that or something or try it and whatever? And then I get up and I just start like no disc, whatever. I'm just start like I put my hand out here and I just like feel that shot or whatever. And then starts talking about the hammer and whatever. I don't go get a hammer, but I try to get like a weight right here and like feel that. I'm like, okay, like I see what you're talking about. Now I'm just like animate. Like I'm looking forward to tomorrow to like go play with Dan, and then we're gonna watch this video. I'm just gonna like throw a sidearm, and it's just going to make as much sense as it did doing that for my backhand, and it basically just did.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for me is I need to get comfortable with like my middle finger and like having that tendon be strong and healthy or whatever, and trusting it, and then just having like a strong grip, and then not worry about having like the active like cocked wrist or whatever. Just like I'm focusing on being back here, and then as long as I'm doing what I need to be doing, it's just gonna work. Like I just need to set myself up, like input the code, hit enter. That's all I need to do, and then just get those reps in. And I've had a couple sidearms since then where I was like, wow, like I've impressed myself or something. Like in my head, like I don't want to say it out loud, but in my head I'm like, dude, holy shit, like look the fuck out. Like you guys are fucked or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just
it's a lot of fun.
When I found that grip, I've just been a lot more like happy and more comfortable with the forehand, and so I've thrown like I just.
How are you gripping sidearm? Are you having like power grip, like tucked or what?
Thanks, Eric.
Nice.
So I put the middle finger into the
Yeah.
groove, and then this finger's
How
just
were you
stacked.
doing it before?
I don't even remember.
Oh, like the Stokely thing
Like
or
this.
whatever? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I had
Okay.
it bent like this.
Okay.
So then it's not as tight in my hand.
Yeah.
It's a little wobbly this way.
Mm-hmm.
Where this, like this,
Mm-hmm.
like it's like throwing a ball again.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yep.
it's here. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And like I just feel like so much more control of it, and it's so much more like a part of me
Yeah.
in what I'm doing, and it's a lot less of like this throwing
Mm-hmm.
as it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's much more like throwing a ball for me.
Yeah.
Like I'm pretty accurate with like a football or a baseball or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
which is always why I've gotten frustrated with the forehand, because it's like, dude, I'm like, there's people that have good forehands that never grew up throwing balls, like,
Yeah.
and couldn't throw a football and can't throw a baseball, but they can throw this disc, and I'm like, I've spent so much time.
Yeah, I remember
throwing
like over
balls.
here, like, dude, if I just chuck the disc in there, like I'm throwing a ball and I'm not like, it could just be on a chop and like whatever, I can hit this number. I can throw it fast as shit. Yeah, you can. But then like translating it to
It just
the
doesn't
shot,
translate.
yeah, it's like it looks different now.
So then, like with that grip, and then what he was explaining in terms of that, it's like it makes sense to me, and I've like done a little bit of the upper body. I just haven't had I haven't really had the desire because I don't want to fuck with my form, but like just having that difference in grip, I'm like, wow, this is a lot cooler.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, cool. If I can like kind of get this in and get this whatever, like the footwork makes more sense to me. The way my body's opening, the way I'm coming through, the way all this stuff is going on, it's like, cool, this makes way more sense to me.
Yeah.
Because it's the same thing of like, I'm way too far like disc back and out away from my body behind me to try to come through to generate whatever, as opposed to worrying, like when I'm throwing it into there, I'm throwing like a ball, and it's a lot
Right.
more like front arm opening up, bringing my chest across, arm coming behind, and then like ripping through.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go to throw, it's this like other, like a disc. It's like this other thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where with that, I'm like, yeah, it's much more like an infield, like relay, like to first base.
Yeah.
Picking it up, squaring up, boom, and
Mhm.
across. And I was just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally, the two things that helped me so much was just the hammer drill and then arm away. And that's it. And then just like getting that hammer, like we went out to the field, used the hammer, and really kind of dialed that in that day. And I was like, okay, like that makes so much more sense in like what I'm doing. So now if I'm bringing it away from me to try to get back into that position, that makes way more sense versus like, not really sure. Like I know there's something here that I need to do. I just don't know what specifically it is. And now I know.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, I don't know how many times I can say it's just so simply solved for myself. But like, I don't know how much of that is stuff already known for however many years of just like trial and error and just like somewhat figuring something out. But then like maybe we were the percentage of like, we didn't grow up like Simon and Eagle, but like somewhat early on. And then so many years have passed that we just never got to that point of like what they, I don't want to say stumbled upon, but kind of along those lines, maybe. I don't know, just speculating. Now we just have those words of like what that last step is, I feel like.
Yeah.
Versus I think newer people who are coming into it are going to have to go more in depth, I think, to maybe understand that. I'm not sure. It could just be as simple as that's what it is, and then they're just working on that, and then it clicks for them. I don't know. Either way, I'm just super glad that it happened.
Yeah.
And that I can like work on it and then just like try to bully some people on the course.
Yeah. I'm excited because if you learn how to golf when you're like a little kid,
Mm-hmm.
like it's real easy
Mm-hmm.
because it's a natural movement and it's biomechanically efficient and it's like on a plane.
Yeah.
So you can take a little kid, give him a golf club, tell him 3 things, like this is what you're working on. And the kid's natural swing, if they're athletic, their like natural swing's pretty good. And then you just work with their natural swing to add to it and you're good.
Build off
Teaching
of
an
that.
adult who's swung a baseball bat a whole bunch or all these other mechanics and other things that they've done, then you give them a golf club and who knows what they're doing. Like trying to get them to a good swing is like difficult. It's
Yeah.
much more, financially disadvantageous and also like time-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I benefit for whatever reason in golf. Like I just have a very natural swing. So like it's fun for me because I can go and like my form's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Even if I haven't played in a year, even my Uncle Bob, when we played a couple years ago for my cousin's wedding, like we went up for a foursome, I hadn't played all year and I only played like twice the year before. And I just
Mhm.
like smacked the shit out of the first shot and he's like, you got a really good swing. And I was like, yeah, I haven't played in like a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's like, that's crazy. And like
Yeah.
we were playing, I was like, like the shots I'm hitting, he's like, yeah, if you played a bunch, you could be really good.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, but
Disc golf, dude.
yeah. Well, also like
Yeah.
golf, like I can golf later. Like my
Mhm.
life, I very much like try to map out of like, what can I do in this time now that I can't do later,
Mhm.
And it's like, I'll golf later.
Mm-hmm.
Like once I can't continue to progress at disc golf, like it'll be a nice thing that then I can pour myself into later in life of like, now I'm going to work on getting good at golf.
I can still play golf. Not
Yeah.
disc golf, but disc golf.
Right.
Dope.
Still dope. Because I
Still
played
dope.
with Vinny when we worked at the Chop and he couldn't drive 200 and some change. And that motherfucker would beat us all.
Yeah.
Because like every shot's dead straight. Every shot's right in the fucking middle. And you're trying to smash it, and he's just like, I'll catch you eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Don't worry. 150 yards and in, that motherfucker's not far from the pin. Every time. And he just talks shit nonstop.
That's funny. Oh, my.
The funniest thing is we had shoes with the boa, with the lace system where you turn the little clicky thing and it tightens up
Yeah.
your shoes.
Yes.
So I have that on my golf shoes.
Okay.
So I'm like tightening it. We were talking about it. This other guy had like the one where the boa's on the tongue, basically on like the top of the shoe. And we were like talking about it or whatever. And Vince already drove and we're back to like talking about it. He's like, yeah, my shoes have them too. They're called shoelaces. Are you guys going to hit the fucking golf ball or are you like jerking each other off about your shoes? And I was just like, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then you like hit a fucked up shot. He's like, those shoelaces aren't helping you hit the ball straight.
Yeah. Idiot. God.
Fucking great.
That's
Thanks, Vinny.
awesome.
Yeah.
So when are we going to have some disc golf shoes with those?
Solomon makes them.
Do they?
I had a pair of Solomons with like a drawstring and a thing down.
Oh, I've had those.
Yeah, Solomon has them with a boa, and then this dude when I was at Frankenmuth, for the tournament out there 2 or 3 years ago, he had a pair.
Mm-hmm.
There was some Swedish company or something that made like trail runners with the boa laces.
Okay.
And I was like, "Are those Gore-Tex?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like,
Oh,
"Really?"
How much are those?
He's like, "Oh, you got to order them." Yeah, I was like, "And the sizing's a little whatever." And I was like, "I'll look into them." And I found them online. I just never
Never got them. How long ago was that?
A couple years ago,
Okay.
2 or 3 years ago.
Gotcha.
Red Wing
Yeah.
makes a tennis shoe that's Gore-Tex that has a boa
Mm.
shoelace system.
You got them yet?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm all set up on my shoes, bro.
Yeah, you have a lot. You have shoes that I didn't like. It, like I said the other day, is like, are those new or are they very obviously just not worn in a minute? And
Yeah.
now they're new to me,
Yeah. No, they're
which
new.
they are.
They're new.
Yeah.
I got them. I was meeting up with Will. I had showings, and then I was at the office, and I had to meet Will at Seymour at some time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's going to be close. And then there was no way. I
Yeah.
like just getting out because of Shaner being fucked up.
Yeah.
I got out of the office, went to go cut back around to go back towards my house, and then that was closed, and then I had to drive way the fuck out of the way, and then all of a sudden, like, I got to 19 Mile, and then I'm like, dude, I just spent 20 minutes, and I'm literally, like, farther away than I was
still
when
at
I
work.
started, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just stop at DSW.
Okay.
So then I drove out, and I had already seen those shoes there, so I was like, I'd almost bought them, like, 4 times, and then I was like,
I guess I'm buying them now.
today's the day.
Yeah.
And I like them. I like them. They're good.
That's
I
good.
also like wear them when we do stuff because Gabby likes them.
Gotcha.
So they're a pair of my shoes that I can wear out socially with Gabby, and she's into it.
Nice.
Most of my shoes are not that situation. Because she likes, like basic bitch, fucking 20-something-year-old dude shoes.
Yeah.
White Nikes. White on white Nikes.
Ugh.
White something else.
Yeah.
Like pure white tennis shoes. And I'm just like, yeah. Yeah.
I don't I don't know. I get it if I guess you're rich, because then you can just buy one pair every time you wear them,
Yeah.
and then just like,
I think that's the point.
yeah,
Still crispy as fuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then they're just gross after. Like they're so dirty so fast. I don't think I could own a white. I've had white pairs of shoes, but I knew getting them, they're gonna be white for a week.
Yeah.
If I'm lucky. And that's fine.
Yeah. Well, the biggest attacker of the crispiness of my shoes is in fact Gabby.
I bet.
Yeah. She steps on them. She'll like put the fucking stool on 'em. I bought 2 pairs of Jordans. And I have a pair of, I think one pair of my Jordans are like white.
Okay.
But I have 3 pairs of total Jordans. But I bought 2 pairs. It was like buy one, then I talked them into the buy one, get one half off thing,
Okay.
which they weren't doing on Jordans. And I called her on it. And then she's like, fine, I'll do it for the Jordans. And I was like, bet.
Yes.
So I wore them out for the first time. They're like army green. They're sweet as fuck.
Yeah.
Dude, we're at the bar like 10 minutes. Fucking Gabby steps off her stool, steps right on the toe of my shoe. And I was like, dude, get off my fucking shoe. Like,
yeah.
what the fuck? Then, like, later on, she scuffed him again. And I was like, dude, like, what is the fucking deal here? Like,
really?
yeah. I was like, dude, like, you're like a tag. Like, I waited my whole life to get Jordans till I was like 40.
Really?
Yeah. I never bought Jordans. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I'm not the biggest fan of Nike.
Okay.
Like, we can just get
Yeah.
that out there. But,
yeah.
but whatever. I was like, and then I wear them and you're like scuffing them up, So I was like, that's why I don't wear white shoes.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even know, like the white shoe thing to me is the equivalent of like, I don't know, maybe a Rolex.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like, for me, or not even a Rolex, but like maybe like a BMW.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if I had a bunch of money, right? Like I'd get some sweet fucking customized car.
Yeah.
Like I'd buy some like badass car that I really like, and then I would just customize the living fucking shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that car would be epic as fuck. So if I was gonna spend $100,000 on a car, I'd probably buy a car that's like 40 or 50 grand, and then put like 50 grand into it,
Yes.
and it would just be like dope as shit,
Yeah.
right? And then when I pulled out, I'd be like, holy fuck, dude, that thing's amazing, as opposed to just like super basic bitch where you just pull up and you're like, I have the same BMW as these other 8 guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like fucking Macklemore, right? When he's like, talking about the $50 T-shirt, and he's like, 6 other dudes in the club have the same T-shirt. I
Yeah.
just look at tennis shoes as like the same thing.
Yeah.
Is like I specifically like I'm looking, then I find something and I'm like, those are fucking dope.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my shit. And I've never lifetime, like except for my docs, but they're like a classic. I've never
Yeah.
run into people when I'm out and they have like my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, I like those shoes. And then we'll go out and I'm like, you mean those? Or those? Oh wait, those are the same. What about? Oh wait, those are the same too. Like, so I should just be one of these guys?
Yeah.
Like, hey, what's going on, guys? Like these shoes, huh? Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
great.
dope.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. It's real good job.
Nice. But But anywho, so you're going to
Yeah.
the tournament this weekend,
Yep.
and you guys are going up on Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
It was such a weird interaction, like I told you before, but the whole time I had no idea that Kyle was coming at all. So the us having to wait on Kyle about whatever it was, like he's got a job interview on Friday.
Yeah.
I had no idea what bearing that held on us from us going up early until I was like, so is Kyle coming with us? Because I don't understand why else, whatever. And he's like, yeah, Kyle's coming with us. I'm like, okay, because you like never mentioned that at any point in time. You
Right.
just asked about like if we could probably go up and like stay at Kyle's family's cabin up there, which is just a house. It's a big little house, whatever. Which will be a good time. But yeah, he's like, Kyle's coming. I'm like, okay, now everything makes sense. And then we never talked about it because I didn't call him out on it. I'm like, dude, you never said anything about that. So
Yeah.
I think his interview's at like 1. I think Dan's good to leave after that, and then we can just like go up there. And then I don't want to play like a whole bunch, but I for sure want to walk the courses. I want to throw like a couple shots, like putters and mids or something, probably. Maybe like a fairway, just to kind of feel out and see where landing zones are, and not be like I haven't thrown this tee shot before or whatever.
Yeah. So he's saying there aren't big shots on either course. There aren't big shots on Green Lake. I thought Green Lake was like a really long course.
I think meaning like how we were in the field, just throwing like open field shots, just like up in the sky, turned over, hammer it, and then like you're good. So it's probably, I think he was saying it was bigger, but like more placement shot type golf in the woods or something. He was saying it was a really cool course when he went and played. It just needs like some foot traffic, but he really likes the design of it. It just needs to wear in, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the same resources as Eagles Crossing or Landing.
Nobody does.
No,
No.
just them.
I love that fucking dude.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I can't wait to
I
go
just want
there.
to make a really nice disc golf course.
Yeah, it's
So we bought 400 acres and I have all this machinery and we just knocked this out.
yeah. But I mean, dude, I'm sorry that I don't remember your name. You probably won't hear this. I hope that you do at some point. Thank you for being one of those guys out there, because that is, I think, a huge thing just for the sport in general, because his mindset was like, I'm going to have this.
Yeah.
And he did. And then his next thing that he was talking about was having like a tour out there, or like a tour stop there, or Worlds there. I forget what it was, but he wanted a big thing there. He wanted it to be like a hub of something. And I was like, that'll be fucking cool. Cause like it will be a, like a beast, but not in Finland or what, over in Europe, but it'll be here in the States, which would be sick and easier to travel to than over yonder.
Yeah. No passport required.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. But that's one of the places I really want to go to.
Yeah, what'll be cool is if, like, I know in my head how I'd want to do it, and I still hold, like, I didn't write it down on my dream thing. Maybe I didn't dream big enough for my list today, but like, I have the idea in my head of what I want to do if I in some way end up with like a lot of resources.
Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself.
Yeah, and then I just wonder like how economically viable it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not a cemetery. Like I always wonder the business model for a cemetery.
Yeah.
Because there's a finite amount of money you make on a cemetery and an unlimited expense.
Mm-hmm.
So on a long enough timeline, every cemetery loses money.
Okay.
So I don't understand how they exist.
Yeah.
Because if you bought the land for $1 and there's 1,000,000 plots, so you can sell them for $750 a plot, your total income is $750 million.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Taxes on the land, mowing the lawn,
Mm-hmm.
paying people to do whatever, upkeeping the fence, polishing the marble, whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Even if it costs you $100 a year, you're eventually going to run out of money.
Yeah.
Because you can't stack them too tall.
Right.
So what do you do? Like I never understood that with a graveyard. Like how does it make money? How do they get any whatever? But with a disc golf course, it's not a cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
So if you spent $5 million, $10 million to build something that was like outrageous, but it was like a destination that people could go, like could it be financially viable? And what does that mean? Like what would the what would the income be? Like if it was a resort, if you actually had like a disc golf resort and you could go and spend the weekend and get a cabin or stay at like a inn, you know what I mean? Like at like a hotel or something there, like how much could that pull? And like how long does it take to pay itself off? Like everything else, like could it be something that'd be financially viable? So that guy doing that one, I'm interested to see if he ends up putting like housing and accommodations and all that stuff because he's got the land for it.
Mm-hmm.
He seems motivated to do it. He wants it to be a thing because then you could move into like, if it's economically viable, other people being like, oh, I could make money doing this. And that's a great motivator for people. So then you could get to a point where like you have pro tour stops where the players stay at the course.
Mm-hmm.
Or as a fan, you could stay at the course.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like stay in the same place the players are at and go like hang out, do whatever, X, Y, Z, whatever. Yeah, it'd just be super fucking cool. And I think, I mean, for me, it's hard to see how that wouldn't be like a winning thing. Like even eventually, like even if it takes like however long to pay that off what you put into it, like I think it's going to do that. Like I think you're going to generate the money to pay that off.
It'd be interesting because there's a lot of golf courses that have failed.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a huge joke that like golf courses are a terrible investment.
Okay.
Like Justin Timberlake bought a golf course.
Did he?
Yeah, and he lost his ass on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like
why?
You because the maintenance is so high.
Okay.
Like the money it takes to maintain the golf course is really high.
Mm-hmm.
And then the reality is like the foot traffic and everything you get on it, even if you charge like a premium for people to play, like it's a real hard balance because the staffing that you need, like all of that stuff, and then taxes on the land, whatever, because you need a shit ton of land, like all of that stuff like factors in, and it's really, really difficult to like own a golf course and have it turn a profit. Country club is different, and that's why country clubs, to belong to a country club, is like $50,000 a year, $30,000 a year, all that. And that like sustains it.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just a golf course and you were just charging people to play, it's very difficult to like run as a business.
Gotcha.
Like even the golf.
I feel like you could do really well if you just had like an RV lot where you have like 100 plugins or whatever the hell it is, and then like just a spot to camp, and then you have like some fancier like accommodations, like a nicer spot to sleep or whatever, that even that would just be like a huge thing.
Yeah.
And then see where that takes you, and maybe there's the money generated from just that is leading into like a hotel or whatever, like some sort of even nicer living arrangement where it's like breakfast and showers and this and that and whatever, like something super sweet or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see because there's plenty of golf courses that do that. Specifically in Michigan, you have a famous one, the Golden Bear.
Where's that at?
Traverse City.
Okay.
It's just outside of Traverse City.
Okay.
And it's like a legit resort.
Yeah.
Like you go, they have like condos and shit you can stay in. They have all this stuff to stay
Really?
and then it's a Jack Nicklaus designed course or courses or whatever it is. There's and like it's super fucking legit.
Nice.
And they make a good profit.
I bet.
So I just think if you did the same thing for disc golf, like what would the profitability be? And your upkeep is nowhere near that of a golf course.
Yeah.
Because like when I worked at the golf course, like there's some seed for like the greens, that grass seed's like $50 a pound.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's outrageous. You know what I mean? And then like the amount of fertilizers and lawnmowers and upkeep of all the equipment. And then like I was on the grounds crew and we had like 10 dudes on the grounds crew.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Working 40-hour weeks plus. Like some of those guys got overtime. Like
that's some money.
That's a crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then like everything else that goes into it, whatever. But on a disc golf course, you don't have that because it's not really like that imperative in terms of like having some exotic grass because only certain grass can be 1/8 of an inch tall and still thrive.
Yeah.
Most of it, once it's 1/8 of an inch tall, if you just keep cutting it there, it's just going to die.
Yeah.
So, and then sandy soils and whatever. Where with a disc golf course, like you just need a real hardy grass, you know, and whatever it is. But I wonder like if your upkeep's kept down and all you're doing is mowing and weed whacking and you don't have like.
Yeah. Mowing, weed whacking, cleanup.
Yeah.
Yep.
and repairs, you know,
Yeah.
like you have repairs and stuff like that. But like you could probably do it with a crew of like 4 people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you own the equipment, I just wonder like,
Yeah. Like I think that crew could be real small and get a lot done.
Yeah.
Like,
if it was a legit job, like, yeah, you could do it.
yes.
And then you'd have whatever. But I'm just interested to see if they can set one up and one is like a win, like then can that start a trend of like having those?
Yeah. Because that'd be fucking wild.
Yeah, it'd be great to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Like if you could have it somewhere near shopping too, so my wife would have something to do.
Oh my. Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. Because then it doesn't matter what I'm doing. She's just fine.
Yeah. Gabby was talking about taking a girls trip next year, and I was like, maybe I'll take a guys trip, which I never say. She was like, well, we should go on vacation. I'm like, well, you go on these girls trips. I never really get guys trips. My guys trips are like to Ypsilanti, Dexter, Chelsea,
Northville.
Chelsea, Northville,
Yeah.
Milford. These are my guys trips.
Yeah.
I was like, but maybe that'll be it. So I don't know. Well, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, we cruised through this. At one point, we were like a half hour in, and then I checked a little bit ago, and we were about to hit 3 hours. Tight. This is fun. Thanks, everybody. Bye, Kevin. Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Bye, guys. Bye, haters.